more and more focus on the come. Own the dream.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
It is not hard to destroy a college.
Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you think you're smarter than Bink when it comes to the draft? Well, he didn't like the Josh Simmons pick.
I hate this pick, actually. Don't like it.
Come prove it at the Fans Draft Party on Thursday, April 23rd, as we broadcast live from the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill at 6 o'clock. If you win our draft contest, you'll walk away with $965. Everyone from 96.5 The Fan will be there. The Fans Draft Party, Thursday, April 23rd at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill, starting at 6 o'clock. Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill on April 23rd for your chance to win $965 in our draft contest. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome in. This is the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Christian Osero. I am joined, as always, by my guy, Jay Binkley. Bink, how you doing?
We're doing good. It's that time of year. It's the first of 7 draft specials. You heard me right. Jackson Ogden back here producing the operation for us, and he's a big draft guy as well. So excited to have Jackson along for the ride. Glad to be with you for year 4.
This is our fourth NFL
year.
draft.
We started this thing when it was in Kansas City, and we just kept it going. We usually do one about every week. Take a few weeks off there in the summer, but typically all the way through the season. So we watch these guys. That's the funny thing. You see these hot takes right now going on by people that didn't watch college football. They just watched a few snippets on Twitter or something, and they're making their assumption on draft picks. You and I watched them every week. We watch college football every week. We watch his draft prospects going against whatever matchup they're going into Alabama, going against 2 pro defensive backs, which certainly changes things. But yes, once a week till draft week. We're on 3 hours Wednesday night before the draft. We'll be at the Brooksider for the draft, a 6-hour special. Hopefully everybody can join us down there. Then back again Saturday for 4 hours. Back again Sunday for a wrap-up show for 3 hours in the morning. Then back Monday for a wrap-up show. So we're talking a lot of draft, the 3 of us.
And our NFL draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. So, as Bink just brought up, we got you covered for the next few weeks here on 96.5 The Fan. All your draft needs.
That's what we do.
Make sure you get locked in here because this is going to be your best coverage you're going to find for the NFL draft as it pertains to the Kansas City Chiefs here in Kansas City. So now we have had a lot of conversation on our podcast, Character Concerns Podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we'd appreciate your support on that. And, we talk all the time about needs, and those needs adjust over time as the Chiefs get some free agent acquisitions and, bring different players in to fill some of those holes that they have after they've kind of gone through their offseason, like startup before the league year. And, the question we have, and it obviously is going to affect the draft, is what are the biggest positional needs for the Chiefs in the 2026 NFL draft? Now, I would just say, because we could make a case for probably 6-7 positions they could use somebody at.
A little bit less with free agency than just roll. And I'm not counting Kyrie LeBouf.
I'm just saying not like 6 pressing needs, but
running back was until free agency, for example.
But like you could probably afford to take maybe like 5 or 6, maybe 7 different positions.
The biggest example in running back.
Yeah, running back was one that was absolutely a position they
100%.
needed to fill. And they went and they got 2 good options there with Kenneth Walker from Seattle. And then they went and got Amari DiMercado from Arizona. So right now, let's just do 3 biggest needs. Hierarchy of needs. What are the 3 biggest needs that you think the Chiefs have in order from most important to least important of those 3? What are yours, Ben?
My top 3, and it hasn't changed even when the running back situation was like it was, it's wide receiver. It is maintained being the number 1 need. You and I have we've got officially 2 mocks, but we did one right there during the season where we addressed things. We've had a receiver in all of them. As a matter of fact, our first 2 mocks, we've had Mekhi Lemon out of USC. So 100% wide receiver. They did not really address it in free agency, or they didn't address it. I know they brought back Tyquan Thornton. That's fine. But there's still a pressing need, in my opinion. Wide receiver 1. I put edge 2. You got to be able to get to the quarterback. I think edge still a pressing need for this team. And 3, defensive back. And I know they signed Kyrie Irving today, but they still need defensive back help via safety, especially cornerback situation. But it's not a pressing. You must do it the first round either. They've had so much success drafting defensive backs in the mid rounds. But those would be my 3.
For me, I absolutely agree. Number 1 has to be wide receiver. I know a lot of people, and I was on the edge train. Hey, got to get an edge rusher, number 1. But my issue, 1, I think there's a good chance they bring in Cam Jordan. So I think that
it's on both our wish list.
Yeah, guy that is very much someone we would both like for the Chiefs to bring in. And again, that's probably like a 1-year duct tape type fix. Still want them to go get another one, but number 1, I'd say receiver, because I think, and I was not on this at first until the Rashee Rice situation happened. When that situation happened a couple months ago and you had the drama that came from that, then it became a more pressing need to get a wide receiver, because I think you agree with this. Rashee Rice may never play for the Chiefs again, depending on how the whole situation plays out. Maybe he does play again for the games for them this year. But he could also be suspended and may never be able to touch the field.
It's also the last year of his contract.
It's also the last year of his contract. So even if he does play for them this year, he may not be on the team after 2026.
Because I know Tyquan's got the 2-year deal.
Yeah.
But really, it's Xavier Worthy that has the contract still.
Yeah. And so right now, the Chiefs, and here's the thing. Maybe Xavier Worthy can be a number 1 receiver because I think we both agree he was hurt last year throughout the entire year because of the shoulder injury and the ankle injury, and it definitely affected his play. He took a big step back. I think that ankle
did more than anything. It's lingering.
I think both of those, they took away from his burst and his release and all of that. But I don't know if he's going to take a step to be the number 1. And so I think you have an opportunity right now to get someone with true number 1 caliber potential in the top 10. And to me, that just makes way more sense than, hey, let's take a receiver late in the first round where we've been picking, or take one outside of the first round. I think when you have an opportunity to not have to worry about finding a number 1 receiver, because you do need one right now, then that becomes your most pressing need. Then number 2, I would say, is edge rusher. And the reason why I've kind of backed off from edge rusher being top 10 is because the guys that I think are the biggest fits for the Chiefs, I think they can get them at 29. And that leads me to kind of back off of it, because I know a lot of people are really, really big on like Ruben Bain and David Bailey. I don't think David Bailey's a fit at all for what Spags generally likes in his edge rushers. A little bit undersized, more of a speed rusher type. He's shown a little bit of power game, but speed is his game. And then with Ruben Bain, I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes when they hear the arm length talk, but I do think the arm length matters to Spags. We've kind of seen that with the guys that he's had them draft at the edge. And also, I think stylistically he may not quite be the fit that Spags is looking for, because I think with the short arms, the power game that Spags likes from his edge rushers, probably not something he's going to be as great as in the NFL as he was when he was at the collegiate level, the times he was able to actually win with it. So I would say edge 2, and then number 3, I'd say corner. Safety, I don't really feel like they need to go safety. They want to go safety, cool. But I kind of feel a little comfortable about safety because of the Lohi Gilman addition.
Signing.
That was a really, really strong signing. But absolutely, corner. I'm not top 10 corner. I'm not necessarily first round corner. I'm pretty comfortable with what you could get at 40, but I think you got to get a corner somewhere in this draft, probably in day 2, so that you can have someone that can pair up with Noel Williams on the opposite side in the future.
And as far as your list there, and I agree with your list, I mean, we're kind of on the same page on this, and you and I always aren't on the same page, but we are on this. The Ruben Bain thing is interesting because we're going to talk about all the mocks that are out there today, and he's the most mocked guy to the Kansas City Chiefs at this point. He's regained that title from earlier. And the one thing, too, is with him, it would be, if short arms don't matter, he would be the shortest arms drafted in the first round in 27 years. That is a sample size. 27 years is a sample size. And then ask yourself this. If you're a top 10 pick and you don't run at the combine, you have a chance to run at your pro day and you don't. So teams don't have, and they can't, when they bring you in for a top 30 visit, you can't run. So you have no idea how fast Ruben Bain is. There is no idea because he didn't run his pro day.
We don't know any of his actual measurables from what he did in drills.
A top 10 pick, and you're willing to throw a dart on a top 10 pick when you don't have any idea of his speed. And here's the other thing, too, when you talk about can he move to the inside, because that was an alluring feature of Ruben Bain, actually, when you thought about him moving inside. Well, and again, these are lies, these press guides that teams put out. But he was listed at 275 pounds and 6'3". He came in an inch shorter, and he came in at 263 pounds instead of 275. That kind of changes the dynamic of moving to the inside or to the outside when you're at 263 pounds.
Plus, when you do watch the film when he was rushing 3-tech, he wasn't as good as he was off the edge. Like, there was a clear difference between what he was doing when he was rushing off the edge versus when they would move him inside. They stunted him a lot towards the inside. And whenever he would go heads up against a guard like that and would try to use power, he gets stonewalled. It looked like he was being run blocked as opposed to being pass blocked.
You said the key thing, though, baby. You talk about Spags fits because these coaching staff, when they do have a little bit of input to Brett Veach, and it's the style that they go. What is one of the things Spags always does? Arms up. Block down the passes, knock them down.
And
he preaches arms raised all the time. If you have shorter arms, guess what? That ball's going over your hands instead of being knocked down, which knocking passes down. Love him or hate him, Amina, he used to do it. Chris Jones does it all the time. George Karlaftis is shorter arms, but he gets in there.
Carlos Dunlap really was the one that kind of ushered in that because he did it all the time.
But it's such a fixture of
elsewhere.
What he does defensively.
Yeah, I just and you know, it's like someone here on the text line from the 214. I have no idea where that is. Felix was a good fit also. Hope we pick one sooner. My thing is, like, you should be drafting guys that are fits because that's how you actually, because, like, here's the thing a lot of people I think misunderstand about how teams draft. If you just draft a player that's good but isn't a fit for your system, then you're setting that kid up to fail. Like, it does matter. There's a lot of times where we've seen players, like, let's say there's a coaching change and a player was used very well in a certain system. The coach gets fired. You bring in a new coach, different system. They don't use and if that system is completely different, they're not going to use all their players the same way. And if you're not using all your players the same way, some of those players are probably going to not be used in the best possible way that they can be, and it ends up kind of wasting their talent. And that's the thing that scares me with guys like Bailey and guys like Bain.
And as far as what Ian Rappaport said at the draft, it makes sense. You want a wide receiver? This is where you get one. The Chiefs have shown they don't want to pay the wide receiver tax. They don't want to pay the Alec Pierce, who got $29 million to stay at Indy, and that was a discount compared to over $30 million he could have made a year in New England. A guy that's never had 50 catches in the NFL just commanded $29 million a year. Juwan Jennings, once supposedly in the 20s, that's why he's still a free agent. Former 7th-round pick. The Chiefs don't want to pay that. So literally, the only way that they're going to be able to get a receiver is through this draft in Pittsburgh or making a trade for one. And the options out there are pretty limited at this point because A.J. Brown will be a possibility, but it doesn't look like Kansas City's on the target list.
Yeah, and you know, even if Kansas City was on the target list, the amount that Philly is trying to get for him is ridiculous. The only receiver I think the Chiefs could make a move for is potentially Brian Thomas Jr. from Jacksonville. And there's been some like back and forth. He might be available. He's not available. And like the number that we've heard is like a second round pick.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs were to move pick 40 to go get Brian Thomas Jr., and then let's say first round they go somewhere corner edge with 9 or 29, you could flip either or. How comfortable would you be with that situation?
Yeah. Well, the text line, it's funny here because they talk about this, and always the asterisk, right? Good coaches should be able to adjust their players. Sign Dwight Freeney, Aaron Donald, and Nick Bonito. Don't forget, Aaron Donald had 32 and 5/8 inch arms, 2 inches longer than Ruben Bain. So let's throw Aaron Donald out of the situation in a different fit defensively.
And he was a defensive tackle,
but that's
so it didn't matter as much.
If we're going to talk about that, Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring. So we can consider him one of the greats. I mean, he has a Super Bowl ring, so there are asterisks involved in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's the saying.
Some guys work out, some don't.
And that's my thing is
going by odds.
Not everybody works in every system. The system the Colts ran worked really well for Dwight Freeney. The system that the Broncos run works really well for Nick Bonito. But would those guys work in Spag's system? I don't think so, because I think the way that Spags wants his edge rushers to play is not optimum for guys like Bain or Bailey. I think those guys are going to be good players. Like, I think if Bailey can figure out the balance issues he has and he can figure out how to actually consistently defend the run, I think he'll be all right. I think if Bain can tap in more to the speed game that he has, because he's got that great first step, and he's got incredible bend, like great, some of the best bend I've seen from an edge rusher.
Let's bring up Nick Bonito. He had 32.5-inch arms.
Yeah.
Again, that's 2 inches bigger than Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, you're throwing these names out there, all have longer arms than Ruben Bain.
Yeah. I mean, this is a massive disadvantage I think people are not understanding when it comes to Bain. And I think Bain, I still think he's going to be a very good player. Right. I just don't think he would work in Spags' system.
I have no doubt he's not going to be a good player. If he can keep that motor, the consistency that he was doing with that motor, that push that he has, he's an extremely strong player. He's very strong.
Like I said, I think fit matters a lot. Like, good player, but if he doesn't fit, then you're wasting the pick. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of good players. We see it in all sports. In basketball, we've seen players go out and accumulate multiple stars, and they don't play well together because the chemistry isn't there. Remember when Allen Iverson got traded from the Sixers to the Nuggets? And everyone's like, oh, the Nuggets are about to win the title. And what happened? They played terrible together because they were both the same guy trying to be the best player on the court, and it didn't work out because they didn't have any chemistry together.
And FYI, Dwight Freeney's arms are measured at 32 and 1/8 inches. Again, bigger than Ruben
That's
Bain.
about the same size as Aiden Hutchinson's. I think it's a little bit shorter than Aiden Hutchinson's arm length.
So you're throwing out names that all have bigger arms than Ruben Bain.
So I'm saying, it's like, this is the level of discrepancy on the arm length is not that precedented in the NFL.
The only
especially
thing the teams are looking at,
round.
they're looking at the offensive line. Elite offensive tackles usually in the 34 to 35-inch range of arm length. And Andy Reid has never drafted a tackle back to Philadelphia and Kansas City with shorter than 34-inch arms, except he made an exception for Josh Simmons.
And someone said, adjust your scheme to your talent. The Chiefs have won Super Bowls with their scheme. Why would you can make some adjustments to your scheme to better kind of evolve with the times.
And you don't have fly-by-your-seat-of-your-pants coaches that leave every year.
Yeah.
You consistently stay.
Yeah, but their scheme has worked.
Yeah.
So, you don't need to completely change your scheme just because of the fact that there's this guy who people really like who could go top 10 and you could take him at 9. I don't even think Bain's going to be there at 9. Like, I honestly do think that Bain is going to be gone well before then, because you can make a case that picks 2 through 8 could probably use an edge rusher. So coming up next, me and Bink are going to talk free agency and see if there's anybody else that the Chiefs could look at before the draft or even after the draft. You're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Vicky Stevens writes, "We weren't happy with the way things turned out last season, so I made the call. Weedman's been a total game changer. Fertilization, weed control, the whole 9 yards. Our lawn has never looked better. The neighbors are so jealous, they avoid me at the supermarket. It's fantastic. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get 1 free service."
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I'm gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy 1 Blizzard tree, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Tonight, expect a mostly clear night with a low of 54.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero.
Welcome back. Chris Unacero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden. We've definitely got some people riled up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. You can join the conversation too. Text us 913-586-7965. We appreciate you guys chiming in and being a part of the conversation.
It's draft season.
Even if you're all wrong. Like we got people arguing about Dwight Freeney's arm length.
It was measured at
32 and 1/8.
Yes, it was measured over 32 inches at the combine.
Yeah, it was 30, which at the time was considered. It was below average. Teams typically like 33 for edge rushers and tackles too.
But regardless, it's more than that. It's about production. It's about weeks 3 through 10 just having a half sack, not running at the combine or the pro day. There's other factors.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Bain's going to be a good player. I just don't think he would be a good player. I
wouldn't doubt he's going to be good either.
The thing that scares me about Bain is he comes to Kansas City and he's D Ford. because you remember D Ford? Like D Ford, all we heard about was that excellent first step.
We heard about Derek Thomas with him.
Yeah, that's what we heard. It was the comp was Derek Thomas, and he did have a great first step, but all he did was just run right into the chest of the tackle and then get nowhere.
It also concerns me that you, on the other edge at Miami, you had Akeem Mesidor. It's going to be a first-round pick as well.
Yeah, Akeem, and you know, I'm not a huge Akeem Mesidor fan because he's 25, going to be 26, I think, here pretty soon. The age kind of concerns me with him, but like I still think like Bain's going to be a good player. It's just fit matters. It does matter with teams, and that's the reason why you will see teams pass up on good players all the time, because that player doesn't really fit what they like. Chiefs pass up on really tall wide receivers all the time, 6'3", 6'4" guys all the time. I know you talk about it every year, Bink, when we are looking at them getting wide receiver help. I know people here on 96.5 The Fan will talk about it every year about getting help. And every year it's the same deal. It's like, well, that's not an Andy Reid guy. Now, we can question, Andy Reid, and maybe he should change his parameters on that. But right now, he has not chosen to do that. So that's the type of guy he generally doesn't go for. So if you're mocking a 6'3", 6'4" wide receiver who's more of a Mike Evans possession guy, probably not going to really work for Andy. And it is what it is. There's plenty of other good receivers out there. We see plenty that are not 6'3" that are really good. So, Chiefs made a signing today. They signed former Florida Gator, former first-round corner. You know, Veach loves these former first-round picks.
Because if you have to say former first-round pick, it's normally not the best player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if you're signing a contract in April, yeah.
And you got to remind someone they were a first-round pick, it's normally not very good.
Who is tied to one Trent McDuffie.
He does.
Because the Chiefs hopped up in front of the Buffalo Bills to draft Trent McDuffie at 21. Kyer Elam went 23. The Bills would have much rather had Trent McDuffie.
One of the more underrated
and this
moments.
isn't hindsight. They wanted him beforehand.
Oh, they wanted him. Yeah, we saw the video. They wanted him. They were really sad when the Chiefs traded ahead of him.
Veach schooled him on that.
It's one of the more underrated moments of this decade so far through the AFC is I don't know if the Chiefs get past Buffalo as much as they did if they don't get McDuffie and Buffalo does. Like
the Chiefs have toyed with the Buffalo Bills so bad, man. So bad. The things they've done to them is legal
Mahomes,
in 47
McDuffie,
states.
Worthy, just every year.
Yeah, they have taken care of the Bills.
So we didn't expect them to go and get another signing before the draft. We've talked about this the last couple weeks now. We expected, hey, you're going to sit pat, wait until the draft happens, and then whatever you don't get in the draft, because the Chiefs do this every year, whatever you don't get in the draft or whatever you don't feel quite 100% comfortable with, you go get a supplementary guy or two after the draft sometime in the summer when the prices start coming down on some of these free agents. Obviously, we just saw, the Chiefs sign Kyer Elam. Anybody else? First off, I don't think Kyer Elam is going to be on the team past training camp. I think he'll be a camp cut. What is he? This is his fourth team he signed for now, I think. Because it was Buffalo, it was Dallas, and it was Tennessee, right?
Tennessee, so it's number 4.
So this is his fourth team, and he was drafted same year as McDuffie. McDuffie
2 picks later.
Going into his 5th year. So this is his 5th year. This is his 4th team. So Kyer Elam probably not going to be a great long-term option for the Chiefs at corner. Is there any other signing you could see before the draft that the Chiefs could make?
No.
Nothing?
I didn't expect Elam, to be honest with you, either.
No, I didn't. No.
They made some damage in free agency, and I thought they did a good job with the free agent picks. They listen, Veach was talking about getting an explosive running back through the draft and all this. Yeah. He didn't need the draft. He went and
he said get an explosive running back. Yeah, he didn't say necessarily through the draft.
But he did get it. He took care of that. That's the one nugget he threw. He always throws the nugget out there when he got Ken Walker.
Yeah, and I think we knew when we heard explosive running back, it's either Ken Walker or Travis Etienne. Like, we knew that it wasn't going to be anyone else.
Hey,
we knew it wasn't going to be a draft
Jeremiah Love. That was.
But we knew. But me and you both talked about it at the time that that's probably a smokescreen for Jeremiah Love to get everyone's mind on that instead of.
Hey, and it would benefit for him to fall in the draft and be that piece out there like a quarterback that someone wants to jump up and get.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think he's going to fall. But B, I don't know how many teams are really going to would trade up for Jeremiah.
Ty Simpson's a guy, if he continues to get the buzz and get the moving up, throughout the draft, he could be that other piece as well.
I think it's a little too late for Ty Simpson to get that much buzz. Because
I mean, it is
because this would be a
the steam
record.
is gaining for Ty Simpson.
Yeah, but it's not gaining that much. It's gaining to where he's like somewhere in the mid-20s.
And this is a Dan Orlovsky crazy stuff. It actually legitimately is.
Back in 2018, we saw Baker the day before go from like he might go top 10 to that's Cleveland's pick at 1. Like quarterback craziness.
It was a little bit earlier for him. He was getting hyped because of the Heisman, and like he was solidified probably right around this time in that draft.
You just know, like the Will Levis thing that happened a couple years ago, right when you get close, these quarterbacks randomly start getting like, oh, he could go high. And you're like,
yeah, we did see that with Will Levis back in 23. It was 23.
Draft was here.
Yeah, it was 23 because me and Bink, we
came to Kansas City.
We were Will Levis truthers, and we were like, this dude's not good. This dude's not an NFL
He turns the ball over all the time. What are they doing?
He's got too much effort in his game. He's got too much Madden player in his game.
Boom, they're drafting the first quarterback of number 1-1.
Yeah, and then he was like he went from like a surefire late first round pick to being picked early in the second round, and he stormed off after the not being taken day one.
He got mad.
Poor guy was sitting in the middle of Union Station just looking around like, am I ever going to go?
He should not. I don't know why he even came.
I hope he enjoyed the barbecue.
Yeah.
Did he even have barbecue?
I don't know. I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he flew home immediately after the draft ended that night.
The draft probably wasn't done, and he was like,
he got to like 32 and 31. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah, no,
Goodbye.
he dipped out. He went back home to where was he at? He was Kentucky. So he flew back to Lexington, or maybe he flew back to his family home. I don't know where he's from. A lot of these players don't go back to school once they start preparing for the draft. So, I think the betting favorite right now for the Chiefs pick at 9 is right tackle. I think I saw that earlier. Like I think on DraftKings, right tackle right now is the betting favorite for the Chiefs pick at 9.
It was number 2 in the consensus as far as what people are actually doing. But Vegas odds,
I think right now they're number 1. I think it was like plus 250 or plus 200.
I got it up right now. It's plus 250 O line, and then defensive line / edge is plus 275. So pretty close.
Are you taking that bet? O line. Plus 200?
I'm not going to take that bet, but one of the things they're talking about, they're leaving the tackle out when they're talking about it, which could be a smoke screen as well. Chiefs use smoke screen about as well as anybody could.
It could be a smoke screen in a
Would
smoke
I be shocked
screen,
if they drafted an offensive lineman at 9? I would not be shocked.
I wouldn't either, because it would be a Veach move of, let's not have to ever worry about tackle, for a while now. I would understand it. It would not be the sexiest pick. And I think a lot of people would not like the pick.
Because if you do, it means you don't like Jalen Moore.
Yeah. Obviously. Or you don't think that Jalen Moore is the long-term solution.
Yes.
Because he's 29, right? I think he's 29 or 30. He might be 30 now.
He spent a second-round pick, high draft capital on Kingsley. Obviously, he spent high draft capital on Simmons.
Yeah.
And then it would be
in their wheelhouse because they've used high picks the last couple years on tackles. So it would be something that would be consistent with what they're doing. I don't think they do that, though. And the reason why I don't think they do that is because, one, I think there's good options that you could take at 29 or even 40. You can go and get, Blake Miller, if you really like him, the Clemson right tackle, at 29. You could very likely get Maxi and Nachor. I mean, you could definitely get him at 29, but you could probably get him at 40 if you really like him.
Well, Spencer Fano is a popular pick, but he's probably going to move the guard.
He's probably going to be a guard, which is my thing. That's my thing against Spencer Fano being the number 9 overall pick, is because if he doesn't work out, you have nowhere to play him. And he is not an Andy Reid guy. That is not an Andy Reid pick at tackle. That is not. I know, like the connection with Kyle Whittingham. That is not his kind of guy.
Another popular is Monroe Freeling, who played left tackle.
He's a left tackle,
so we'd have to move the right.
Right, and that's just to me. We've seen mocks where they have the Chiefs taking Monroe Freeling. That doesn't make any sense to me. We've also seen them there were other left tackles that have been mocked to the Chiefs at somewhere in that 9 to 29. And it's like these guys, the Chiefs don't need a left tackle. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
same thing with Caden Proctor too.
Yeah, Caden Proctor's another one where
his athleticism.
Yeah, left tackle. Oh, let's move him to right. Yeah, but he wasn't even a great left tackle last
Good pass
year.
catcher though.
Oh yeah, he might be the best athlete in this class.
They got Tonga through free agency that can play that role.
Yeah, Kyrus Tonga, he absolutely can play.
He did that at BYU.
Yeah, but like Caden Proctor, you want to use him as a tight end, cool, but not left. He's not a right tackle. He's left tackle, and he wasn't a great left tackle when he was at Alabama. He was someone that there's a lot of holes in his game. So.
If it was that good for him, he'd be easily slotted as a top 10 pick, and he's not.
Easily. He would probably be the top tackle in this class if his play on the field matched his athleticism that he's shown. Because he was our favorite tackle in the class at the beginning of the year.
Make no mistake about it, Alabama could not run the football. They were the bottom couple teams in the SEC at running the football, so the run blocking wasn't there for Alabama.
Coming up next, me and Bink are going to we're going to recap our mock draft 2.0 that we put out a couple weeks ago, give you our thoughts about why we went where we went, before later on we recap the latest 25 mock drafts that have come out and where they project the Chiefs to go. You are listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Hey, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And Rob, I'm Scott Parks from Dan and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC will feature the biggest names who made the World Cup in Kansas City possible, plus the biggest storylines heading into this summer's tournament. This is not a podcast about soccer. Don't get us wrong. This is a podcast about Kansas City. This is a podcast for Kansas City. And this is a podcast that'll tell the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes will be released every Wednesday starting on March 4th, as well as video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ's social channels.
Subscribe and download to Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series with myself, Rob Bretton, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I hope you're sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you are a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone at 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Keeping things rolling here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden producing on the other side of the glass.
No releasing to Jonathan.
Oh, I got Jonathan Ogden. Okay, yes. I guess
He's got the cool name.
Cheesy. We
Yeah,
should
he's
have
got
some.
the
We
cool
should have that Price is Right music
No,
when
it's
they
like the
lose
first
the
time I
game.
worked with Jackson. I was
We
like,
should
oh,
put that
Ogden.
in there. So we are a little bit over 20 minutes until we are joined by Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen,
per tradition,
making his annual trip up here to the 96.5 The Fan studios to talk NFL draft with me and Bink.
He keeps collecting rings, but he didn't get one.
He didn't get one. He didn't get a championship hat and shirt this year. So I'm sure he's gonna be a little sad. But hey, he's got a great collection thus far.
He just went to the combine. He went with Mitch's first trip to the combine.
That was he's
he's always working.
That makes sense. That makes
till
sense.
late. So
yeah, but usually it's like a couple weeks after.
it was weird because it was like his first one. I was mad about it, but yeah.
Oh, I bet you was excited.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Yeah. I'd love to go to. Sure. I would love to go to the combine.
Mitch's draft book is
it's huge.
Huge.
He always comes in here with the big ass clipboard with a bunch of
His
papers in
binder
it.
is no joke.
Yeah, he is one of the most prepared people I've ever seen in this field.
And McMullen's just like he is.
Yeah, no, McMullen, he was telling about some of the stuff he does to prepare. Man, it's a lot. So, Mock Draft 2.0. We put it out a couple weeks ago. If you missed we recorded it while we were doing it. If you missed it, you can go on to the Character Concerns page, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search Character Concerns. Go and listen to it. We had a lot of fun doing we always love doing these mock drafts, and we do have more on the way, so make sure you stay tuned in. But here is how our Mock Draft 2.0 went. Starting off around 1, pick 9. Bink made the pick. We alternated picks. So he started off with the first pick at 9. Who'd you go with, Bink?
Mekhi
Our
Lemon.
guy?
We talked about the comp, and you see that comp quite a bit now.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously same
You'll
college.
see
That's
that.
why you get
Jackson Smith and Jigba's another one.
But he doesn't drop the football. Just 3 drops in his last 175 targets. That is 1 drop per season.
Yeah.
That'll play.
Yeah.
Because someone on the text line wanted Brian Thomas. Well, here's the deal. Brian Thomas finished number 2 in the NFL in drop passes last year. That is something the Chiefs can't have is the drop passes. Lemon does not drop the ball. I say that, watch him go out and drop the football, but he doesn't drop that. He's not known for dropping the football.
He is not known for dropping the football. He's known for being a great route runner and one of those guys that even though he's not huge, he does play above the rim very well.
Well, stuff happens. Carter Jensen overslept. He alarmed the game today. I mean, things happen.
Like I said, Mekhi Lemon was my favorite receiver very early in the season for college football. You know this. I talked about it. I think it was week 1. I was like, this is my favorite receiver in the class. So that's my guy. I love this pick. And, I'm all about this. So then with round 1, pick 29, I went with TJ Parker, who to me is the best fit for the Chiefs at edge. I know that a lot of people, you hear some stuff about TJ. You see him fall in because TJ was a guy that was probably like bottom of the top 10 early in the season in mock drafts, and he's fallen all the way to being like late first round, early second round. But I'm telling you, don't worry
Which is
about
great because honestly, I think that a lot of these pick 29s and later picks are just as good as the number 9 pick, to be honest with you. I
agree with that because I don't think this draft is as top heavy as people think it is. I think it's really good in that 29 to 74 is like somewhere in that range, that 25 to 74, 75.
And TJ Parker's pretty much mocked from 25 on. You might have to get up to 25 or 26.
Maybe. It's possible. Maybe he falls to you at 29. Maybe if you really want him, you move up a little bit to get him. But TJ, to me, is like the perfect fit for what the Chiefs are looking for at edge rusher. He is at the very minimum, I think another George Karlaftis, but I think he has high-end potential to be an elite pass rusher, especially in Spag's system. He is much more of a power rusher than he is a speed rusher, but he can use some speed. And you look at the way that he uses his length, like he uses it the way that you would want in a system like Spags does. And, he can move all over the line, though he's best on the edge. That's exactly what I think the Chiefs are looking for at edge, especially, with Spags and what he's looking for. I think Parker's probably the perfect fit. And then at round 2, pick 40, who did you take?
Went Christian Miller out of University of Georgia defensive lineman. Listen, I mean, this guy can play the zero, but they bring in Tonga to play the zero. Obviously, Tonga is not going to have 100% of the snaps. He's a 45 to 50% snap guy. Miller can do that. He's really shined at the 3-tech. He even slid out so much as a 7-tech or 5-tech, not as often, but primarily a 3-tech.
Primarily a 1 and a 3.
But very versatile on the defensive line.
Yeah, very powerful. He's a guy that if he gets a one-on-one, he's going to cause problems for the guard.
Again, I see a Spags fit because he can do every damn thing he wants.
Yeah, you can move him around. You can play him nose. You can play him 3-tech. He's really, really tough to block one-on-one, so he's going to draw a double, and he's going to be a guy that pushes the pocket back. So I like the pick a lot. At round 3, pick 74, I took tight end Max Clare from Ohio State. Second straight year the Chiefs have taken an Ohio State player based on this mock because they had the stigma Veach didn't take Ohio State players. But
that's out the window.
Yeah, it's out the window with Josh Simmons.
They didn't. I'll say this: they did not go to Ohio State's pro day. That doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything because they didn't do it last year either.
And they brought in Simmons for a top 30 visit.
Yeah, they did. Max Clare, though, he would be the perfect answer for a Noah Gray.
And he transferred from Purdue, very productive there. But he's sitting there with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate in that offense.
Yeah, he can block. He can catch passes. I think his athleticism is a little underrated. He's definitely a guy that I think you grab him in round 3 at tight end there. I think he'd be a nice fit. The only other,
he is not a Kelsey replacement.
Yeah, the only guy I think you could. There's only 2 guys I think you could put in that could be potential. 3 guys actually that could be Kelsey replacements in this draft. 1, Kenyon Sadiq. 2, Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt. 3, Michael Trigg, the tight end from Baylor. Those are only 3 guys I think you could really count on to play the Kelsey role. Outside of that, a guy like Clare, he's probably more an inline tight end and is more of a Noah Gray type than he is a Kelsey type. So at round 4, pick 109. Who'd you have them take?
Will Lee the third, cornerback out of Texas A&M. I just like he seems like a fit for the Chiefs secondary and everything they like to do. And I love getting corners 4th on.
He's a big corner. He's very good at man coverage. He's going to be a guy that pressures you at the line of scrimmage.
Come up and hit you. I mean,
yeah. I think he is 100% a Dave Merritt type of corner.
I think when they do redrafts, he's probably in the second.
I think so too. I think he's going to be a guy that shoots up people's power rankings.
Like Noah Williams is Remox. He's a first at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Will Lee. I think he could be a second or even a first round on Remox based on what he could show because he's got a lot of talent. At round 5, pick 146, I had Michael Toffee, the safety. Michael Taffy. I keep messing his name up. Michael Taffy, the safety from Texas. He's more of a deep cover safety. I think that's what you need. I think now everybody's playing too deep. He can come up and tackle, so that's what you're looking for there. This guy makes a lot of plays. And
Special teamer as well.
Yeah, and again, this is a third day. Hey, let's go get some depth and potentially find a starter late in the first round somewhere there. So I like this pick. Round 5, pick 167. Who do you have?
Kevin Coleman Jr. Again, kind of undersized, what he does, but he's a playmaker. And not only that, he can return punts. And that is pretty big, the fact that you have a wide receiver and a guy that can return punts. Again, we had 9 picks, 5 of them on defense, 4 of them on offense, but 3 receivers. This is receiver number 2 that we took out of the bunch, and Kevin Coleman.
And then at round 5, pick 167. So, actually, this is not 167. I think it's 176. I think we messed up that graphic. I had them taking their 3rd wide receiver in this draft in Tyron Montgomery, the standout receiver from John Carroll University, a university I've never heard of until he showed up at the Senior Bowl, and I think he was either the best or the second best receiver there at the Senior Bowl.
He dominated big school corners in the Senior Bowl. Didn't get an invite to the combine.
He caught one over my favorite guy, Chris Johnson.
He showed out at the Senior Bowl. 119 catches, 1,500 yards this year. Division III, though, again. it's going to be a guy that you really hope that O'Shea really turns into a viable receiver.
Yeah,
he's got the ability because he showed out at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, the thing is, he's
against much better competition.
This is a 5th-round pick. This is just a dart throw at this point. You've already taken 2 receivers that I think you would feel pretty confident about those guys being contributors. In the lemon, you hope he's a star. But I think with Montgomery, you're betting on the upside with the athleticism. He's a great athlete. And, this is the time where, like, hey, let's see if we can develop this guy. Let's see if we can tap into that athleticism. Because if you can, you're talking about a steal. You're talking about I don't know if it's quite Tyreek Hill level steal, but it would be an incredible steal if he turns into a regular rotational wide receiver coming out of Division III John Carroll University. That would be incredible. So I'm a big fan of this pick.
And the Chiefs have had the history of throwing the 1 dart at receivers.
Yeah.
Gives you multiple options.
Yeah. And then in round 6, pick 209, who did you have?
Devontae Smith. Not the wide receiver for the
Not
Eagles.
the receiver.
The cornerback from Notre Dame. Kind of disappointed this year in what he could be because it looked like a lot higher for Smith this year.
Could have been a day 2 guy.
But another late 5th-round corner type for the Chiefs that they turn into. Don't forget, Jalen Watson's a 7th-rounder. L'Jarius Sneed was a 4th-rounder. Joshua Williams is a 4th-rounder. So it's kind of in that same wheelhouse.
This is getting some depth at your corner spot. Obviously, Will Lee is going to be the guy you're really looking at as the guy you're hoping develops into like a good number 2 corner opposite Noel Williams. But with Devontae Smith, you're getting someone that you're hoping is going to be a contributor and could be a good depth guy for years to come on a rookie deal. You're hoping he develops into that way. I think the same way that they were hoping with Jalen Watson, and then they got way more out of him.
Again, with scheme fit kind of in mind, kind of what they like.
Yeah, exactly.
That is key when you look at
that's exactly what they've
done
looking
so well,
for
defensive
there.
backs.
Yeah. So coming up next, we're going to do our mock draft roundup, get you caught up on what position groups, what positions the mock drafters have the Chiefs taken in the 1st round. You're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Liberty Mutual customize this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Hey guys, this is Rob Brennan from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the upcoming World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dane and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch, KC features the biggest names who helped make the World Cup in Kansas City possible. And there was a lot of work, plus the major storylines heading into this summer's tournament.
This is so much more. This isn't just a podcast about soccer.
No, you're right, Rob. It's a podcast about Kansas City, for Kansas City, telling the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, along with video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
So make sure you subscribe. Download Beyond the Pitch KC with Rob Brennan and myself, Scott Parks, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out.
Leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Final few minutes here in the first hour flew by here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special. Here on 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden on the other side. Coming up in about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on the break, we are going to have Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen with his annual appearance here on our draft specials, and we're going to try to see if we can get him to tell us that the Chiefs aren't going to take Ruben Bain at pick number 9. But we are going to do a quick, abbreviated mock draft roundup here. Bink put this together this morning. He got the latest 25 mocks, and this positional breakdown is really interesting. For a long time, when we started doing the mock draft roundups, who was the most popular pick for the Chiefs at
Kenyon
9?
Sadiq.
No.
It was the very first,
no,
but season was still going.
At number 9. Like I'm talking about when the season was done.
Ruben Bain,
9,
Jeremiah Love. Those two.
Jeremiah Love was by far the most. He was
Ruben was number 2.
When we would do these, because we do 25 at a time.
Yeah.
Number 1 by far.
He was like 14 or 25.
He was generally at least half or around half of the mocks. It was Jeremiah Love. After Kenneth Walker got picked, it kind of got picked up by the Chiefs. It kind of started to spread out a little bit. You saw a little more Ruben Bain. You saw a lot more tackle. A lot of
tackles.
Spencer Fano.
A lot of Mansour Lane corners.
Yeah, a lot, and that's what you're seeing now. Ever since the Chiefs traded away Trent McDuffie and then Jalen Watson also left in free agency, corners become really popular too. Of the 25 mocks that we did, we have, for the pick number 9, the most commonly mocked position to the Chiefs at number 9 was edge rusher, which is all Ruben Bain.
Most of them, 8 of the 10 were Ruben Bain.
Oh yeah, there was one David Bailey. The guy had him trading up to 3. Had the Chiefs trading up to 3.
Tackle, 8 of the 25. So 18 of the 25 were either edge and or tackle. 2 corners.
Yeah.
2 tight ends were Kenyon Sadiq, 1 safety and Caleb Downs. 1 wide receiver made the list, and Jordan Tyson, and Sonny Styles was the 1 linebacker at 9. Now keep in mind, I didn't.
And they had him trading up for Jordan Styles for Sonny Styles.
And I put Mel Kuypers because he and Matt Miller and company did a split mock, and Mel Kiper had the first 2 Chiefs picks, and he had Kenyon Sadiq and Braden Cisse.
Yeah,
the corner from South Carolina. Pick 29, 6 edges, so it came down a lot at 29. 12 corners. That was the really popular pick at the end of the first round. 2 offensive tackles, 1 tight end, that was Kenyon Sadiq. 3 wide receivers, believe it or not, it was 2 Denzel Bostons out of the pick 29.
Yeah. So,
and I like Denzel Boston a lot.
I like him a lot. I don't know if I'd be 100% at 29. Like if he was there at 40, I'd feel a lot more. Concepcion would be my pick, but and I don't think this would ever happen. I don't think this will happen. But if Kenyon Sadiq were sitting there, and then you had Denzel Boston, and you had Casey Concepcion, I think I'd want Kenyon Sadiq
at that point,
in front of those two.
I mean, just the measurables and everything in Oregon.
Like if you were looking for a pass catcher at 29, like let's say you decided to go edge or whatever, tackle or whatever at 9. You're going pass catcher at 29. I think I'd want Sadiq a little bit more because that athleticism, that's...
Well, and Dean Lanning is just a phone call away.
Yeah.
The coach of Oregon is a big Chiefs fan, so you need any info.
Yeah, he's a hometown guy. He's a
Lanning
hometown
would,
guy. He was
be more than generous.
He was coaching here when we were doing the high school show a decade ago.
Dan Lanning was at Park Hill South,
Yeah, he was there. We interviewed him, right?
I think so.
I think we did because we interviewed 60 coaches
There's
that
a
year?
lot of them, yeah.
So, no, I'm pretty sure we talked to him back then, back before we knew that he was going to be a top Power 4 coach there. So, coming up next, we're going to be joined by Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen, and we are going to grill him on what type of players that he expects the Chiefs to bring in 3 weeks for the NFL draft.
He's got the answer key. I just saw it.
He does. I know he's talked to Veach. I know he's been talking to Andy. We got to get some answers out of him before the draft.
On speed dial,
yeah, we need to know. We need to know, Matt. So, coming up next, Matt McMullen is going to join us in studio as we talk NFL Draft here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Kansas City metro area Hy-Vee locations and all Walgreens.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard tree, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
The Fans Draft Party is Thursday, April 23rd at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Back in here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley, Christian Osero, Jackson Ogden on the other side of the glass. And we are now joined by Matt McMullen, Chiefs team reporter. All of our draft coverage and our draft guests are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Matt, how you doing, man?
Yeah. Oh, we got to turn
his mic on.
Hold
on a sec. Do we got you?
Do we got Matt? I think we should have Matt sometime. Are we live? Yeah, we are, but we got to get the mic on Matt.
Just turn them all up, Jackson. Like all the microphones, just turn them all up.
There we go. We'll get
it. Are you good? Are you good now? Say something, Matt.
We're testing.
There we go.
Hey,
we got Matt.
What's up, guys?
All right, what's going on with you, my friend? Usually you walk in with brand new rings from Super Bowls and stuff.
You tell us about your expanded hat and T-shirt collection.
So the hat collection for the first time in my career with the Chiefs did not expand this year, which was pretty sad. But I am fired up. I am hungry to get after this offseason. And like we were just talking about, as much of a bummer as last year was, this is an awesome opportunity, right? It reminds me so much of 2022 that we have a chance to go into this draft and nail it and set up another run of success. The key is making sure that we nail it, but it's pretty exciting.
And the one thing, too, Matt, is it is different. And I know the Chiefs were still doing their homework on the draft picks and stuff like that, but it's much different at the end of every round where they typically pick. And the fact that not they only sent scouts to the Senior Bowl and all that. They've always done that. But these assistant coaches, instead of looking at game plans, could spend even more time on the fits because you look at Brett Veach and some of the selections that he makes. I'm sure there's some input. I've always heard there's been input from some of the coaching staffs in whatever he had. But you got a chance to go to the combine where 319 guys worked out, and Mitch Holthus finally had a chance to go to the combine because he's not covering a Super Bowl.
He sure did. He was like a kid in the candy store. We had so much fun. It's crazy.
Did he bring the binder?
Before. So the binder isn't done yet.
Okay, the binder's still being
the guy that makes the binder is Austin Woodard, who you guys would love. We should have him on here sometime. He lives in Joplin, and he makes all of Mitch's scouting reports like by hand, like by himself.
Oh wow!
Just over the course of the year. That's who makes that binder. So it's not ready yet. But
the binder's awesome.
But he's
I've seen the binder,
ready to go. It's huge.
It's so fun. But 319, only 6 guys did all the things at the combine. It is changing. And the one thing, the pro days are all going on. Like Alabama did theirs the same day Ohio State did, Nebraska. I mean, so you got to spread everybody thin. I mean, eventually I think everything's going to be more regionalized where you don't have this problem where all the scouts are all these different places. Sure, you can send everybody, but you can't send key people to every single one of these events. But the combine is the end all be all. Again, guys are not doing all the events, which has to be frustrating. But these front office guys, don't they get more from the interviews and stuff than the actual on the field stuff? I've always heard that.
Yeah, it's the interviews and the medical. So any front office person that you talk to, like I think they enjoy the events, like for the players that do it. There's no harm in getting more information, but the interviews and the medical are the most important parts of it because, I mean, all the guys going through the medical stuff, I mean, guys find out they have like diseases and stuff. They had no clue.
Like
right?
Caleb Banks, Caleb Downs found out Caleb Downs found out that what knee tendonitis he had or whatever that.
Yeah, I mean, you find out things that you wouldn't have found out otherwise. It's really important, but also the interviews. I mean, you find out what makes the guys tick. You find out, can they be part of the culture? And actually, so Mitch and I had the opportunity to interview a bunch of our front office guys while we were there. And I asked one of them, what do you get out of those interviews? Can you tell like right away that a guy is a Chief or not? And they said, absolutely. And I asked for a few examples, and like Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, numerous players, like the minute they came in.
Xavier Worthy one of those guys too that blew him away?
That was one of the guys we heard about.
Like you find out right away this guy can be part of our culture because it's unique. Not every player can succeed here, and you want to use that time to figure out, can they succeed here? So while it's a bummer that the guys don't do the drills a lot now, I still think the combine is really valuable for all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Then the top 30 visits they bring in, they could dive into more medicals and stuff when they do that. Josh Simmons came in for a top 30 visit last year, and they don't always draft people in the top 30, but they have drafted people in the top 30, but they use it a lot for guys in the mid rounds. Nick Bolton even came in here back in the day on a top 30 visit.
The top 30 visits are crazy because we share a cafeteria, right? So I'll just be getting a sandwich, and I look over, and it's so-and-so that I've been watching video of for weeks and weeks, and I'm like, what?
Do you go talk to them?
Nah, I leave them alone. No, I'm like, I just need to put the blinders on and leave them alone. But it's always funny when you see them in there, and you'll see guys that maybe you don't know who they are, but they're wearing like a cutoff or something that has their university on it. And I'll go upstairs and I'll try to figure out who it was, and that's always fun.
So one interesting you brought up about combine and talking to players and kind of figuring out, is this guy a Chief? We had this argument at the beginning of the last hour with our texters about fit and about how important that is when you're drafting guys. Talk to us about how important that fit is from not only a personality standpoint, but from a systemic standpoint when it comes to bringing guys in via the draft.
Well, I think the most important thing on both sides of the ball, for our team especially, is versatility. And if you can't do something that you will be asked to do, it doesn't make sense for you to be here, right? So I think about, like, defensively, it's always tough with the edge rushers because you see a lot of edge rushers around the league who are lighter now. And I mean, I'm not opposed to having a lighter edge rusher in here, but a lot of times in Spag's system, they have to be able to play the run. They have to be able to bounce inside. And that's why when I'm looking at players in the draft, it's like, who are those guys? Who are the guys that could bounce inside? They have the size, they have the strength that they don't.
Arms up as well, block passes down.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
huge
They
for
have
Spags.
length. Yeah, because, I mean, there's some speed rushers in this draft that would be fun, that could add a new dynamic, but when I look at our scheme, I'm like, I just don't know if this is a player that makes any sense, right? So those things are always evolving. I'm not saying it's like a hard line, and if you don't hit these benchmarks, it doesn't work. But I do think that you have to think about the scheme. You have to think about the fit because you're investing in a player for 4 or 5 years, high in the draft. You want him to be a guy that's on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, and we've thrown that out a lot. It's like scheme matters so much to these teams. Not every player is going to work in every scheme. It's like if you had this heavy run system, you're probably not going to want a quarterback like Mahomes out there who's more in tune with like playing heavy shotgun and playing more spread and more comfortable in that system than one where he has to do play action off of like outside zone or sweeps or whatnot and then turn around and run bootleg off of that all the time from under center. You're probably not going to want players doing that if they don't fit your system. So I that's one of the things that we talk about all the time is like when we do our mock drafts, we're mocking guys that we are like, okay, this guy has the ability to play in a system like what Andy likes in his offense, like what Spags likes in his defense. And I feel like a lot of people really don't understand that because you brought up like the smaller edge rushers, like let's say a David Bailey. Like David Bailey he's talented. He was really good at Texas Tech, but like definitely a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit more of a speed guy as opposed to power. He's shown a tiny bit of aptitude for the power, but not to where like you'd feel comfortable with him being a primarily power rusher. Like how how can we kind of convince some of these people that the fit matters just as much as the talent when it comes to the draft?
Well, I think winning helps. Winning with those players that you bring in. I do think that what's funny is when you look at some of the national mock drafts, like when you guys were looking at the mock draft roundup, you can tell some people just don't understand our team or understand what even the holes are. Like, this is a bit random, but I think about some of the offensive tackles being mocked early, which if the Chiefs want to go offensive tackle, I can understand it if you want to solidify right tackle for years to come. But in some of the breakdowns, they say, like Maui Noah, for example, you could take Maui
I got
Noah
the name right. It was Maui Noah.
Well, I think it's Maui Noah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Maui Noah.
Hey, we got to trust each other on that one.
I remember one time, not to get off track, but I remember a couple years ago, us all trying to say Kingsley's name. And Sua Matai. Come on,
Everyone
guys.
was saying Sua Matai. And then I actually listened to an interview, and it was Sua Matai.
But to that point, Spencer Fennell is seeing that, but he's looked on more he's going to be moved inside to maybe a guard.
Yeah, exactly. So I think when some of these analysts are saying, like Maui Noah, he can play tackle, and maybe a bounce inside to guard makes some sense. It's like, well, the Chiefs aren't going to take him if they're going to bounce him inside to guard. The Chiefs have maybe the best interior offensive line in the league. So I think there's a lack of understanding nationally sometimes about what our fits are.
It's also if Mel Kiper puts out a mock, you'll see a lot of the same picks with other mocks going forward. So you see, a guy, a trend setter like that, Christian Miller's a guy. I gave an example. We drafted him early. He's a defensive tackle out of Georgia, but he plays the zero as well. And they bring in Tonga. That's not obviously going to play 100% of the snaps. So it's a guy that could still play snaps, but he's more of a 3. He's even slid out to 5 or 7. That, to me, is a Spags guy because he plays all up and down the defensive line. And also the one person we're forgetting about, and you see all these projections for the Chiefs defensive line, people are forgetting and sleeping on Omar Norman-Lott. I mean, here's a guy you really didn't get the sample of his high pressure rate he had in college and what he can do. But I think they're sleeping on the fact that he will be back, a former second-round pick last year, and he'll be big time into the mix.
In my office the other day, we were watching his clotheslining of Jalen Hurts. That sack is so awesome. We're going to see more of that this year, hopefully. I'm with you. I do think investing on the interior of the defensive line makes a lot of sense. And particularly with a guy like Miller or like Caden McDonald, how do you guys feel about him?
I like him as a run defender, but the juice in the pass rush game is a little bit questionable to me. Like, my thing is this.
But he's definitely a 2-down guy.
Oh, yeah. First, second down, he's my thing is, if they did not make the Kyrus Tonga signing, I'm cool with that. But my issue is, versatility on third down. Can he rush the passer? And he's shown a little bit of that when he was at Ohio State, but I didn't see it as much as I wanted to. I think he'll be great as a run defender, though. First, second down, I think he's going to be awesome.
I think he had the best PFF run stop percentage in the FBS.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
I would like to see some depth at that zero technique and just at the interior of the line having depth there, because I'm excited about Omar coming back, but look what happened when Omar got hurt last year. Just not a lot of depth there. So my hope is that with a pick or two in this draft, we can invest in that spot.
It's not like Christian Miller because he can do that if as. More 3-0.
Yeah.
Tonga is probably 45 to 50% of the snaps he can do, but you're not going to ask for a lot more than that.
How many offensive snaps for Tonga?
A few.
He'll
BYU
probably
connection.
get 15.
Okay.
That's why Caden Proctor's been mocked to the Chiefs a lot. Alabama. He does that. Hey, they had that guy in Tonga.
Because you know what's going to happen. They're going to line him up as an eligible receiver at tight end over there, and then they won't use him as a tight end for a while. They'll just have him block, and then eventually they'll sneak him out there in one of those big games, and he'll catch one in the flats for the big man touchdown, be a big celebration.
Justin Fields will be out there as well.
It'll be a primetime game so they can show out for the nation and make sure everyone sees that on film. And then every time they bring him in after that, everyone's going to have to account for him.
You got to think about it, you mentioned Caden Proctor. When I think about this time of year, I'm wondering at what point will the exponential growth of what a human can do athletically stop? How can a 352-pound man run a 5.21 40?
And make cuts like he did.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean, we talked about him a lot early in the season. He was our favorite tackle at the beginning of the season. And you see the athleticism. It was just there were some issues with his actual
The
play.
run blocking in Alabama wasn't. I mean, there
wasn't great.
bottom third as far as running
wasn't
the
great.
ball at Alabama. So Ty Simpson literally had to do everything.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but still, like, super talented player. But guys like that, it is incredible seeing them, like how athletic they are, being that size. I mean, we obviously see it in the NBA all the time too. It is really incredible seeing how much these guys have advanced. Even guys like who aren't even in this year's class, but are going to be in next year's class, like a Nick Harbor, where he's like 6'4", he's 235, and track star speed, probably going to be a 4.3 guy in the combine next year.
Way underutilized.
Yeah, way underutilized in South Carolina. Like we were talking about, the Chiefs probably taking a dart on him somewhere on day 3. If he would have been in this year's class, but a guy like that, crazy athleticism you see.
He's got Sellers back, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we're going to take a break here. Mac McMullen obviously going to stay on here. Coming up next, we're going to dive deeper into this class. Let's find out who are Matt McMullen's favorite players in this draft class. You're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
You love your land. During Kubota Orange Days, you'll love all the great deals. With versatile compact tractors, professional-grade mowers, and durable utility vehicles, Kubota equipment can help you turn dream projects into reality. Kubota Orange Days is here, and so are the best deals of the year. Now through June 30th, get select compact tractors with 0% financing available or save up to $5,500. Sale ends soon. Go to KubotaOrangeDays.com or stop by your local dealer for more information.
Drew McIntyre here from WWE. Wielding the Claymore can be a life of chaos. When I'm not dominating in the ring, Chumba Casino is how this warrior takes a wee break. With hundreds of online social games and new weekly releases, there's always something fresh to try. And those daily boosts, next level. Even my free time feels like Valhalla. So when life feels like a battle, kick up your feet, have some fun, and let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this. What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Back in here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden, and joined by Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen. You got to turn your mic on.
Always got to start off everything with one Matt McMullen. All right, you like doing I love these things. We do the 5 things to know about certain players. I love when you do the little series. But the wide receivers, all right, we know they're bringing in Carnell Tate. It's no mystery. Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon for top 30 visits. Understandably, they're doing their homework. And what it spelled to me is that Ian Rappaport said it best, I think, at the draft. He goes, you want a wide receiver, it's probably coming from here. Because the wide receiver tax that people are paying is a lot. When a guy like, Alec Pierce is making $29 million and could have been even more had he gone elsewhere. He's never had 50 catches in the National Football League. Juwan Jennings probably wants too much at around 22 or something million for a former 7th-round pick. So you're either drafting a wide receiver or you're making an Orlando Brown-type trade for one, because they did that with Orlando Brown. They weren't happy with the tackles, Sam Cosme and Liam Eichenberg and Alex Leatherwood, the guys at the end of the
Jenkins.
So they decided to make a move. They called up Baltimore. Believe it or not, they got a trade deal done, and then they're getting pick 58, which turned into Nick Bolton. It was the perfect home run. That was one of Brett Veach's best moves, to be quite honest with you. But they made a move for it. And Andy Reid, he likes veteran receivers. We've seen rookie receivers and Deshaun Jackson do well. Xavier had to step up when he got his 59 catches because Rice got hurt game 4 and Hollywood got hurt in preseason. Is there any of these guys at wide receiver? And so we talked about Tate a little bit during the break, how he didn't have any drops this year at Ohio State. The drop passes, certainly the Chiefs have been, that's a high number of drop passes they've had. Mekhi Lemon, only 3 in his last 175. One average, not averaging, he has 1 per year. He doesn't drop the ball. But good hands, they run good routes. They're willing to block. Is there Denzel Boston, we're talking guys later on to 29. Chris Brazzell that could be, in the second round. Casey Concepcion. Lance Zierlein had a mock where he had 6 receivers going in the first round. The record's 7. 04 in 2024, we saw 7. I told Chris when we did our wild draft takes the other day, I had 6 receivers going in the first round. I mean, I like this group. I don't think there's a huge difference. The same with Edge picking at 29 and 9 because I like a lot of that kind of second tier of players. But clearly, Mekhi Lemon is our favorite. But is there one receiver that kind of stood out to you at the combine or just a couple of receivers you really like?
I think so. I'm interested in all of them. I think watching them, I have been fascinated with Tate just because I think he's interesting that he's not necessarily a burner, but he's so good at tracking the ball. He's so good at going up and getting it. And to be that kind of player and to have so many contested catch situations, I think he had like 65 targets last year, not a single drop, and so many big plays downfield, averaged over 17 yards per catch. So I think he could make a lot of sense, but you could talk me into any of them. Lemon's awesome. I've made this mistake over the years. I might have done it on this show at some point over the years where I would look at players like Amon-Ra or at JSN, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, they don't really have the speed. They don't really have the size. I just don't know. And then they end up being like 1,500-yard guys and best receivers in the NFL. So I'm not going to fall for that one again with Lemon. I think Lemon's great. The route running is obviously elite, and his ability just to create space and get himself open is incredible, and that translates to the NFL as we've seen lately. So you can talk me into him. I like Tyson a lot. I think Tyson might be the most talented receiver in the draft, but it's just the injury stuff, and that's where you lean on your athletic trainers and your doctors with that kind of thing.
Which they have before. I mean, Josh Simmons
Look
was
at Simmons last year.
Rick Burkholder.
I mean, sometimes when players have injury histories in
Smith.
college, it doesn't continue. It's just a matter of getting that evaluation. But he's super talented, kind of like a Terry McLaurin kind of player. So I like him. What do you think of Omar Cooper?
I like Omar Cooper a lot, and it's funny because when Indiana was playing Penn State, Chris and I often, communicate with each other during games, and we said, all right, it's time. It's time for Mendoza.
We talked all through that game because that was probably the moment for
Let's see
Fernando
Mendoza. Let's see if Mendoza can have his Heisman moment and lead him back to score.
And he did.
And Omar Cooper made a crazy, crazy catch. I was a big Elijah Surratt fan out of Indiana, that group of receivers that they had. But as the season progressed, it's like I like Kalen Black better than Roman Hemby, the running backs from Indiana, as the season progressed. But Omar Cooper became my favorite receiver. Charlie Becker, I like him a ton, but he was a freshman. But Omar Cooper definitely stood out to me. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I was a fan of Cooper. I thought Cooper nowadays, you could talk me into Cooper at 29 over Concepcion or definitely Denzel Boston, but probably Concepcion too, because Cooper to me, he reminds me of Rashee Rice in terms of how he plays and what he does, especially after the catch.
He's right about 6 foot too.
Yeah, similar size, but what he does after the catch, making guys miss in open space, getting yards after the catch. I can see him being what the Chiefs were hoping that Rashee Rice was going to be before the injuries and stuff happened. Yeah.
From that slot, he creates space.
Yeah.
I mean, something the Chiefs like to do, the catching runs.
And I could just envision Andy finding ways to get him the ball really quickly and get him after, let him do his thing after the catch. And I think he'd be a great fit if that's where the Chiefs wanted to go.
Yeah, I think just watching him over the last several weeks, he's kind of been the guy that I've been infatuated with, particularly because I don't think, to your point, you'd have to take him at 9. I think he'd be more like a 29 guy or
maybe 40,
up a little bit.
Maybe 40.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I just think he'd be a great fit because of that run after the catch ability. Off the top of my head, I think he broke 26 tackles last year. It was 4th or 5th most in the FBS among receivers. He's strong and powerful and kind of like an extension of the running game. I do think that with Kenneth Walker and Amari DeMarcado and Brashard Smith, I think the running game is going to be so much more explosive this year, and that's going to help the entire offense where the receivers will have more opportunities because the defense has to respect the running game. I mean, the play-action passing game for the Chiefs struggled last year. It's no secret. I looked it up. The Chiefs had the fewest passing yards in play action in the NFL last year. I think that's going to go way up this season, and that'll help the receivers as well, and it would certainly help a guy like Omar Cooper.
As far as the safeties in their lineup, I mean, I can see Mahomes and Walker working off each other a ton.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whoever's not seeing the success that they want, the other one is. So one of them is going to eat because it's going to be less attention on one of them. Now, you have to pick your poison on what you want to do. They both can hurt you. But it's going to be fun to see how they work in tandem.
If defenses this year don't want to respect the running game, you give the ball to Kenneth Walker, and he might not bust a 20-yard run every time, but he's going to do it a couple of times at least, and you have to respect that, and that's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that really kind of jumped out. And that's the reason why, me and Bink, we talked about this a year ago. They didn't address it then. They were like, hey, we feel like we're good. They obviously were not. And we were like, this middle of the season, we were like, next year in the draft or in free agency, you got to fix it. You got to get yourself a running back because we can't be having our starting running back averaging less than 4 yards a carry. So I think that now that you got Kenneth Walker, you're adding in, you're basically going to dare teams to keep doing what they've been doing the last 3 seasons, playing too high on you and not really being seriously trying to stop the run against you. And, you brought up the play action stat. I mean, I think they dropped to it was 10% of their plays were play action this past year, which if you remember during the 2018, 2019 seasons, they were heavy play. They were top 5 in play action usage in the league because of how effective they were. They had been at running the football in the previous, 5-6 seasons before with Jamal Charles and, whoever else, Kareem Hunt they had out there.
Rookie year, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they were so good at running the football and using their running back in the passing game that teams had to take that seriously when they would play action. Now, teams don't respect it at all. So that excites me a lot that you're going to have that option to be able to kind of fake teams out and force their safeties to have to come up in coverage. So you might be seeing a little bit more cover 3, and that excites me a lot.
Yeah, one opportunity is deep down the field, I think, for one-on-one situations, which just haven't had a lot of that over the years. And the middle of the field, talking about Omar Cooper again, a guy like that's going to thrive over the middle of the field, right? And if linebackers and safeties have to respect the explosiveness of your running game, the middle of the field is going to open wide open. So
yeah, Kelsey will appreciate that. Travis Kelsey, he appreciates Rasheed Rice when he does in the middle of the field. We had 9 picks, obviously, with the Chiefs had. We had 5 on defense, 4 on offense. We ended up going 3 receivers. And one of them was Michaela. One was Kevin Coleman because he can return. He can be a good punt returner as well. And Tyron Montgomery is a real shot in the dark, but he's a Division III guy who lit up the Senior Bowl. He lit up real good corners, didn't go to the combine, but 119 catches over 1,500 yards. But he was playing top corners in the Senior Bowl, and he was the Senior Bowl standout as far as wide receivers were concerned. So he's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm all for, particularly like in the 5th round and beyond.
Yeah.
You're just throwing darts at these guys and seeing who works out. And Brett's been so good about that.
Hope someone works out.
The Chiefs front office has been so good about that over the years. I made the comparison earlier to how this kind of feels like 2022. Hopefully it can be like that. Think about getting Jalen Watson in the 7th round, right? Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round.
Mike Dana didn't even go to the combine.
Yeah, you get a player like that in the 5th round. So the Chiefs have had a lot of success on day 3, and having 3 5th-round picks, it's not very exciting for like television ratings, but I think when you're talking about building a football team, 3 5th-round picks is pretty exciting.
We'll talk more about those day 3 guys because before we came on, we were talking, and I know that you love them day 3 guys.
Yeah, I do.
You love diving deep in like that. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the hour, but coming up next, I want to talk the defensive side of the ball. I want to talk edge rusher, guys you like there, and where you think the Chiefs could go in the first couple rounds there if they want to go that at edge rusher. We're listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited-time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your
your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. At Busey, banking is about more than numbers. It's about relationships. For over 150 years, we've been helping individuals, families, and businesses reach their goals with personalized service and local decision making. Whether you're opening your first account or planning your next big move, we're here with the tools and support to help you move forward with confidence. Busey Bank, your partner for life's moments, both big and small. Member FDIC.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. Ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of Blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden. Still in studio is Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen.
And I will say this too, Matt. It is a pleasure having you in here. I love talking draft with you. It's become a tradition.
Likewise,
that we've
guys.
had. And my question to you is, will the Bills answer the phone if Veach calls again?
I guess we'll see, won't we?
They can't keep doing this. They cannot.
You think about the Ravens helped the Chiefs get a Super Bowl. The Bills have definitely helped them get three of them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the biggest rivals in the AFC have helped the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm waiting for the Chiefs and Bengals trade. Will that ever happen?
I don't know. I'm just saying if you're sitting there in the draft room there and they say, "Oh, Veach is on line 1."
Hey, what
do they take the call?
What if Reuben Bain is sitting there in 9? Bengals are picking right after the Chiefs. What if the Chiefs do a move like they did last year with the Eagles?
Yeah.
Where, last year the Eagles really wanted Jihad Campbell. So they traded up one pick with the Chiefs, and then they got Jihad, and the Chiefs got Josh Simmons. What if that happens at pick 9 and 10? They trade back one. Bengals get to 9. They pick Bain if they really like him, and then Chiefs at 10 can pick whoever they like.
And don't forget, smokescreen season is in full effect. Mike Borgonzi told a great story about drafting Patrick Mahomes, and everybody thought they were trading up to get a linebacker.
Yeah.
That was a great story.
You never know.
You throw the smoke screens out.
This is the time of year, and particularly like draft night, you just never know what's going to happen. And you don't know what's real and what's not. Mitch and I do a live stream, and we react to the pick live. Like, we don't have any heads up. Like, we find out when everyone else does. And that's when at 9, it's a little bit easier. A few years ago in 21, we did it for pick 58 when we got Nick Bolton. And I'm sitting there hoping I know something about the player that we take. Thankfully, I did. But, yeah, things always happen. And whenever it's a live show, things get kind of weird. So I fully suspect things will, be crazy.
You should have heard. Think last year when they picked Josh Simmons.
You were upset, weren't you?
He was heated. No, don't do that.
No, I was. We'd
you
gone
were
on and on. We'd gone on and on about the Ohio State, how Ohio State just hasn't been a part of the plan.
And we really wanted Luther Burden.
When Luther Burden.
We both really wanted Luther Burden.
Luther Burden turned out pretty damn good.
He's turned out to be pretty good in Chicago, just like we thought he was going to be, except we were hoping he was going to be here. But, happy to have Josh Simmons now.
Josh Simmons is pretty good, too.
Yeah, I like him now. I'm a fan.
I like the fact that he's ready to go week 1. I mean, that surpassed everybody's expectations.
But Bink was very deflated during that. It was.
I remember that. You were pretty upset the day after.
Or you were? Yeah, you were. And then
in my defense, the first rounder I really liked was Mahomes because I did go nuts on that one.
Hey, it's okay.
That's good.
Hey, it's okay. I've liked guys that didn't work out. It's okay. And there's been guys I wasn't a huge fan of that worked out. It's okay.
That's why Ohio State is back on the table now.
They're back about it. Now we're talking about them. We're mocking more Ohio State guys.
Yeah, it's been open now.
Well, they have like 7 first-rounders on the team this year, so
it's been opened up.
So, which edge rushers do you really like in this class for the Kansas City Chiefs? Because they got options at 9, they got options at 29. They got some guys that tons of fans have really kind of gotten, kind of sold themselves on. And then some guys that, probably you got to dig a little bit deeper on. What are the edge rushers that you like as far as like fits for the Chiefs?
So I think talking 29 and 40 is more interesting because I like Bain. I think he's awesome. I get the arm length thing, but I like the juice that he has. I like the energy that he has. I think if there's a guy at 9, Bain makes sense. But there's a whole bunch of guys in the later portion of the first round, early part of the second round that I think are more interesting to talk about because there's more of them. One being Zion Young from Mizzou.
Love Zion.
Bink loves Zion. I like Zion too. Zion. Bink loves Zion. He was talking about him early in the season.
So we talk about
great
traits.
Senior Bowl too.
I mean, he's 6'6", 262 pounds, long arms. He reminds me a lot of when Charles Omenihu was playing his best football.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When I was thinking of the comp there.
I mean, you have size and length where you can play inside, outside. Like you were saying earlier, Bink, you can put your arms up and you end up with like 5 or 6 passes defensed. I think he'd be a perfect kind of fit for what Spags likes to do. And he's productive. I mean, he had almost 17 tackles for loss last year playing SEC football. So Zion Young is a player I like a lot. If he was there at like 40, I'd be ecstatic.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Moore, Gabe Jackas.
That'd be great. That'd be really great.
Even 29, I think I would do.
No, with Derek Moore at Michigan,
too.
Gabe Jackas at Illinois. I mean, there's options. My whole thing with Ruben is, when we talk about him, I'm big on the production. What did you do against certain teams? You could say that about Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love, the best defense he faced this year was Miami. He had 33 yards. Price actually had more yards running than Jeremiah Love did. Sure, he had a great game against Purdue, but he had less than 100 against Texas A&M the following week as well. It was in the 90s, but it was still less than 100. So against less than 100 against the 2 teams that made the playoffs was there. Ruben Bain goes week 3 through 10 with just half a sack. I mean, that kind of stands out because there's, a week of, 4 in a row where you're not making a tackle and not getting a sack. And then you have Akeem Mesidor on the other side who actually led the team in sacks. So it always worries you a little bit when someone's on the other side that's a first-round pick as well, as far as how much attention they're getting. And a big fan of at least showing what you can do. For a top 10 pick, you got to show running it somewhere, the combine, the pro day. Those would be my concerns. I know the arm length and stuff like that, that's fine. We can talk about that, but there was a lot of other issues too.
I get that. Devil's advocate, I think there is something to be said for Bain playing his best football in the college football playoff when the lights were brightest and when his team needed it
Except
most.
for the semifinals against Ole Miss. He didn't do anything.
Sure. No, it's fair. But like Indiana, I don't know.
Mesidor actually had a better title game, I thought, than Bain did.
You know what's funny about Mesidor? Isn't Mesidor older than George
25?
Karlaftis?
He's a grown ass man. Like he's almost like have kids and have a mortgage territory.
He's a coach on the field.
Like that was the thing. Is like here's my thing.
But he and Bain both decided not to do anything at the pro day.
Mesidor would be on my list for 29 if he were available. If he were 3 years younger, but because he is in his mid-20s now, I'm like you can't, because second contract is going to be tough. Because, you take him at 29, so 4 or 5 year deal more than likely. And so now you're looking at second contract. Second contract, he's going to be 30, 31. Like, that's really risky for contract number 2. It's different if it's contract number 3, you start, early 30s, you start looking at it. Contract number 2 for 30, that's D Ford. And that's a tough decision to make there because of his age.
I think the positive with him is definitely like a high floor, right? Like he's a player that could come in and play right now. But
Yeah, I think so.
that's a fair point. When you have players that have been on your team for a couple of years now and they're younger than he is coming in, it's something you have to consider.
Well, there's certain guys, too, like Mark Fletcher. I really liked him, and a lot of people fell in love with him through the playoffs. Well, the running back in Miami, because he was doing some Derrick Henry stiff-arming everybody. I mean, he really stood out. He had a really good year, but it's unusual because he's going back, and he didn't have to. I don't mind when other players go back, but running backs, not a huge fan of it because they take a lot more wear and tear that extra year. Now, wide receivers, edges, things like that, that's a good time, I think, to jump if that's what they want to do. But running backs specifically should jump. Jacoby Thomas, the safety.
Oh, he loves Jacoby. Man, all he does whenever we talk Miami,
dude,
he talks. Jacoby Thomas is the first player he
had
brings
5
up every
interceptions,
time.
3.5 sacks from a safety position.
Didn't even talk about Ruben Bain. He's like Jacoby Thomas.
He was the guy that bloodied Mendoza. I'm telling you, that is a Spags dude, man.
And I agree. I think he is a Spags guy.
I'm looking at my list here because I scribbled a few names down. This is almost kind of hypocritical on my part because we were talking about the importance of scheme fit and traits and all that earlier.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Cassius Howell?
No. No. That's my answer is no.
And I understand why.
I mean, he's tiny.
He's got the 30-inch arms.
He's tinier than Mike Daniels.
He's got smaller arms than Bain.
I get it. Yeah, he does.
Like, look, if the Chiefs...
He's explosive, though.
He's very... But he's tiny.
He's a local guy. So
He's
I like that about him.
Look, I hope he works out. Local kid. I hope he has a nice career. If he comes to Kansas City, he's going to get blocked into the sidelines because he's so tiny.
Okay,
like
that's a fair point.
Like, that's my... If he had length, you could work with that. He doesn't have length. And that's my, because like, you know, some of those guys who are like thinner, like who are like sub 250 like he is, generally those guys tend to be tall and lanky. You know, we saw like, well, who was the kid they took from Stephen F. Austin a few years ago?
B.J. Thompson.
B.J. Thompson. Like he was a guy that was tall and lanky and just he had to grow into his weight because he played at 220, I think. And then he had to put on 20 pounds in the pre-draft process. That would make sense in that case because he has the frame for it. Cassius doesn't. The Cash is like my height. And you're talking about trying to get him to go out there with shorter arms? Nah, that's...
He actually gave production in Texas A&M edges.
He
did. They're highly drafted, but not a lot of production.
Shamar Stewart
except
last
for this year is much different. This year the numbers are better.
I just don't think he's a fit for Wisconsin. Like he's too tiny.
See, I like to approach the draft process, and I'm like, guys like Zion Young, he makes a lot of sense. Cassius Howell, maybe not, but I talk myself into it.
From Illinois. Gabe Jackus I really like too.
Yeah.
Like I watched the tape for Cassius throughout the year, and I was like, he's too little. He's just I was like, dude, I get why people like him. Same thing with like R. Mason Thomas too from
same
Oklahoma.
Thing. I was going to mention him. Yeah,
the small guy, just too small, and not only that, but the 40 time for R. Mason Thomas.
Without the injury concerns, he was on a hell of a roll.
So is his first name R? I've been trying to figure this out.
I don't know.
It might. Let me Google this.
He only played like 10 games, I think, last year because he had the injuries.
It's like a lawyer's name.
Dude can play, man. No question about it. I mean, Oklahoma was a sack machine last year.
As far as I know, his first name is R. Mason. That is his name.
Okay.
R. Mason.
R. Mason, not just R.
He sounds like a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, like
sounds like a lawyer for sure.
But there's no period or anything.
There's no period or
nothing.
Is I don't know. It's R. Mason. It could be R. Mason. I don't know.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, R. Mason. Yeah, everything I'm seeing is R. Mason.
This is why when Dane Brugler's draft guide comes out,
the
beast,
clutch. It's clutch
because I'm sure he has the explanation in there somewhere.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's clutch.
I like his freaks list players. I like the freaks list guys.
Yeah, freaks list is always good. Yeah, Bruce Feldman. Yeah, that's how I got onto Nick Harbor from South Carolina because he was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 on the freaks list a couple years ago.
Okay.
And he's him. And like you look at a lot of the guys who are generally like highly ranked in the draft class, like guys who maybe weren't like super productive but very talented. Usually they end up on they're guys on the freaks list.
Well, it's like guys we were talking about earlier, like Caden Proctor. Like you're just an absolute literal freak. Like it doesn't make sense that you can be 350 pounds and jump 32 inches in the air. You know.
Yeah. Top 3 sack teams this year: Miami, Indiana, Oklahoma. So there's your And of course, Miami and Indiana had played more games, so that's why they're the top.
That helps.
So if you were doing, we did this at the beginning of the show. If you were doing your hierarchy of the 3 most important positions Chiefs got to hit on in this draft, what would they be?
And we're not talking about necessarily at what spot, just in general.
Just in like it doesn't matter what spot, because like obviously where you take guys depends on who's on the board. So like if you're saying, hey, they got to get somebody at these 3 positions, some point in the draft, who are you taking?
Number 1 for me would be edge. Number 2, I'm going to go. Can I cheat and say defensive back, or do I have to be specific?
You got to be specific. Because
Okay.
he said defensive back earlier, and I'm like, I don't think they need a safety. I think they could use a safety.
Safety would be a nice luxury, like a Bud
That's what I'm saying.
Clark
That's not a need. That's a luxury.
Okay,
Those are 2 different
so
things.
I would
Opposite
say corner. I would say edge, corner. And honestly, I think defensive tackle. I know receivers up there. Receiver would probably be 4 for me, but just based on what happened last year with the lack of depth there, I think defensive tackle would be 3 for me.
So why would be defensive tackle be above receiver?
So I still believe in our receiver core. I think, again, because when you have the explosive running game, I think Rashee and Xavier have opportunities to continue growing. I think both of them have flashed things where I think they have awesome potential. And I still think the Chiefs will end up with a receiver in this draft. So I think there's
hopefully more than one.
I think there's talent there where I think the other spots, we just need some more depth, in my opinion.
So I do agree that with the run game opening up a little bit more this year, I do think that it'll make guys like Worthy and Rashee and Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah,
better.
Taquan. Having Taquan back's a big deal.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he can kind of slide in and potentially be like a Hollywood type impact from last year. But, and this is something me and Bink talked about all throughout the season, is like, because to me, I thought the biggest issue with the passing game was the running game.
Agreed, yes.
I thought that was by far the biggest issue, because when every team is just disrespecting your run game, disrespecting your play action, nobody is taking that step forward when you act like you're going to hand it off to your running back, then it makes your receiver's job harder. Because like guys like Tyquan Thornton, like literally when Tyquan was getting those deep balls thrown to him, like literally it was just him playing. It was almost playing 500 because he always had a guy or 2 down there to try to make a contest on that catch, and it was incredible watching Tyquan do it, because like he's not open on most of these plays.
Because Worthy and Thornton downfield, that's something that other teams don't have. I mean, if Worthy can get back to 9 route and vertical, I mean,
But even
that is elite speed, because Tyquan's 4.28. I mean, that's
but even
really
not
close.
just like 9, like you can do some other like deep routes where you're not just running 9, but it's just like nobody respects their short game, because you don't have a running back you trust in the passing game, and you're not very effective. You're not that efficient at running the football in general. And so it was like when they would run it on first down, it was almost at that point you might as well just pass it there, because you're going to be more efficient.
The Chiefs had 3 rushing plays of 20 or more yards last year. 1 was Xavier, 1 was Patrick.
I know.
Think about that. Kenneth Walker, I think, had 10 all by himself.
Yeah, he did.
So I really think just adding that component back to the offense, where the defense has to respect it, the linebacker has to think about that, the safety has to think about it, it's going to make the middle of the field way easier to complete passes. And I think guys like Tyquan and Xavier are going to have opportunities to have much more separation. And Tyquan doesn't have to go up and play 500 deep down the field because he's running free by 10 yards, because Kenneth Walker's in the backfield and you have to respect what he can do. So I'm with you 100%. I think the receiver core, the talent is there. And that doesn't mean you don't keep adding to it and getting better, but I think the talent is there because we've seen it before. I mean, Rashee in his rookie year was the best receiver on this team, if you think about it. Xavier, what he did on the run to the playoffs and the Super Bowl a couple years ago in 2024 was excellent. The talent's all there. It's just a matter of the team working together to achieve what they want to in the passing game. And to your point, I think having an explosive running game is going to help the passing game exponentially.
And let Mahomes not run as much. He had 422 yards last year in 14 games. He had 5 straight years over 300 yards rushing. See that number come down to about 150 or so, where he's not having to do so much.
Well, coming off the injury, I think that's kind of a mandate. Yeah. I think you can't expect him to do that, even though I'm sure he could. But you don't want him to have to do that. You want to be able to have him drop back and find receivers downfield, not him having to scramble early in the season.
All right, well, we have finished our second hour of the show, guys. And are you cool with staying on?
I'm in. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue to have Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen talking Chiefs. We're getting a lot of insight. Feeling like we probably got some answers here on where the Chiefs might be going here.
I don't know about that.
I think we might have got something. I think we might have got something.
This is me spitballing.
So we'll talk more free agency and where you think the Chiefs could go post draft. You are listening to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Hen House markets and select Sunfresh locations.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the action. And right now, you can make entries and win money in Missouri. And playing on Underdog is so easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, like points and rebounds, steals, and more. And once you get your entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And playing on Underdog is awesome. I love it. So many basketball games going on over the next couple of weeks. How far is Kansas going to go? Is Duke the best team out there? Maybe you believe in Arizona. Download the app today and use promo code BOB to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5 with promo code BOB. Underdog, make plays and win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Springfest means more sun, more fun, and more free at Lowe's. Keep your yard in line with an additional free Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a select Ego mower, trimmer, or blower. Plus, keep landscaping fresh with Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal.
For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip deal. Participation may vary.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, it's Carlos Esteves, and this is your home for Royals Baseball 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back to the Chiefs, to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. NFL Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan, and all of our draft guests are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Matt McMullen, Chiefs team reporter, here for one more segment, and we've had a lot of really good conversations in the break. We could literally just extend this out. There's so much to talk about here, but Chiefs, did a really strong job in free agency this year. We obviously talked about Kenneth Walker a bunch. How do you feel the Chiefs handle free agency in the lead up to the NFL draft?
How they will over the next few weeks, or how
they did thus far?
Because literally it took away slots from the draft.
Filled so many needs.
I thought
running back, you're probably looking at top 3 rounds for running back. Now they don't have to mess with that.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was truly a masterclass. I really do, because this is obvious, but what I always think is so important going into the draft is you don't want to have a bunch of needs where you are hoping the draft can save you. I really believe that you want to try to have your team as ready to go as possible, where if they had to play a game tomorrow, maybe you don't feel great about it, but you could do it. And so you can go into the draft and say, we're going best player available. And if something kind of crazy happens or surprising, you can end up with a player that you didn't expect, and maybe it's not at a huge need, but you end up with a really good player. I think that's kind of what happened in 2022 with Trent McDuffie, where going into it, I think corner was, on the list, but I wouldn't say corner is we got to go first-round corner, right?
I think it was edge.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty sure it was
but
edge.
Typically GMs have 13 to 18 guys they have first-round grades on. The rest of them are essentially second-rounders. And wasn't Trent McDuffie somebody they actually had a first-round grade on?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he slides into 20, so
they trade up and get him.
We got to go get him. And, Kyrie Elam got leaped as the Chiefs went and got McDuffie.
But I think the reason the Chiefs were able to do that is they approach free agency in a certain way. I think it's a similar situation this time around where the Chiefs addressed a lot of their needs in free agency, and now you can go into the draft and truly go best player available. You don't have to say, man, I really hope Jeremiah Love falls to number 9. That's not a good way to live. And the Chiefs, they didn't do that, and now you can really truly approach it and say, whatever player falls to us, it's going to be a really good player, and they'll help us win.
How has the landscape with college football changed a job like Brett Veach? Because he talked about having 100 guys. Now it's been whittled down to about 75 guys because all the guys that went back to school to take that check, because that has really affected GMs. Jim Nagy used to run the Senior Bowl. He's with Oklahoma's now as their GM. They started to see less and less talent pool to Senior Bowl because guys are going back to school. And this effect is going on with NFL GMs too.
I think NIL and transfer rules have changed a lot of things. I think there actually are some positives in a way from a mental makeup standpoint. I think Brett's talked about this, where if you're a player that has been to 2 or 3 different schools and you were paid a lot of money to go to these schools, like Caleb Downs to me, he's at Alabama, he's at Ohio State. A lot of expectations for him when he shows up at Ohio State, handles it really well, handles money really well. And you go into the league and it's not like it used to be where all of a sudden all these 20-somethings are millionaires. Well, they kind of maybe already are, and you kind of saw how they handled it during college. So I think that's actually a benefit in some ways, but it doesn't work for
interesting
everyone.
because I actually think he's the best player in the first round.
I love Caleb Downs.
I know.
I think he's awesome, and I think he'll be a great player wherever he ends up. And if it was at number 9, I'd be pretty excited about that. Not going to lie.
Yeah. A lot of people have comped him to Eric Berry, myself included. How do you feel like he kind of fits with that comparison?
Well, I look at the league now, and the best defenses in football have a player like a Nick Imamori or a Kyle Hamilton or a Jalen Petrie, where it's a jack-of-all-trades safety who can do a little bit of everything. I think Spags would love having that kind of player on our team, where they can cover the slot, they can blitz off the edge, they can play the run, they can cover tight ends. I mean, those players are hard to find, and Caleb Downs certainly has that skill set. And also just being a team captain on one of the best defenses in recent history says a lot to me. So that's an example of, I don't think safety, like we talked about earlier, is like a huge pressing need. But if the board falls a certain way and he's there, I think the Chiefs could take him because they put themselves in a position where they can go best player.
And we've seen safety change the complex of how the Chiefs run defense. We haven't. Kyle Hamilton's interesting. He was in that draft of Aiden Hutchinson. You look back at that draft, think these were the best guys. You see the Kyle Hamilton comparison, stuff like that, but he's 6'4". Big difference because Kyle Hamilton plays off-ball linebacker. They'll put him at edge. They'll put him in slot. They'll put him everywhere. Kyle Hamilton plays all over the place. Obviously, Caleb Downs a little bit smaller at 6 foot, but I'll say this. He didn't get to return the ball much. He's got only 10 returns, I think, in college. But he's got 1 return for a touchdown at Bama and 1 at Ohio State. So it is one part of his arsenal he can do as well.
Yeah, well, the dude can make plays. I love him as a blitzer. I just really do. And I think
he would.
For Spags, obviously loves using defensive backs as blitzers. Yeah. I think he'd make a lot of sense. Avion Terrell would make a lot of sense in that category too.
That's a highly mocked Chiefs guy.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's kind of an easy deal where he looks a lot like Trent McDuffie coming out because
that's the reason why he gets mocked so much to the Chiefs at 29.
He's a slot guy, really good off the edge, but I do think he could make some sense because of his coverage, obviously, but because of the blitzing as well as an added bonus.
How comfortable would you be? Because like there's some people trying to make Avion Terrell like an outside corner because he did play some at Clemson, but like I mean, let's be honest, he's probably going to play slot in the NFL. How comfortable would you feel with the Chiefs taking slot in the top 10? Because I mean, in the first round, because you don't see a lot of slot corners, like guys who are like more pure slot corners playing, being taken in the first round as opposed to like day 2, day 3.
Well, I guess I would ask you, look at the Mekhi Lemon comparisons.
Yeah.
Guys like Amon-Ra, guys like Puka, guys like JSN. Where do those guys line up a lot? It's in the slot. And oftentimes you have your best receiver in the slot. So I'd be kind of into it, actually. I think maybe 10 years ago, not so much. But nowadays, because of all the different things you can do out of the slot, think about L'Jarius Sneed. Several years ago playing the slot, I think led the NFL in pressures for a defensive back. Then Trent McDuffie did that like 2 years in a row. The slot position for Spags can be so dangerous and such a weapon.
That's why they drafted Connor, because he could do so many things. He's a big-time blitzer.
Sure. And yeah, I mean, for me, if the Chiefs ended up with a guy like Downs or a guy like Terrell who can play the slot really, really well, like you're adding an elite slot defender, I'd be into it, even though maybe it's not like the value position that you would normally expect.
So your dream scenario, 9-29, how would you go if you're the one making the decisions in 3 weeks?
So it's truly how the board falls. I think.
Let's say it falls the way that you want it to. Like the perfect scenario.
Will they keep those 2 picks?
Yeah.
So would you guys be surprised with a trade back and a trade up?
No.
Yeah.
No, but like, would I do that? No, I wouldn't, because I actually love where they're picking with both picks, because I think that's a good window where you're at. Because I would not want to have a top 5 pick in this class.
Keep people at the restaurants. We got early, we got late.
I would not want to have a top 5 pick in this class because I don't think the top end is like similar to what we've seen in previous years. But yeah, like let's say dream scenario, 9-29, you could have your perfect options there. Aside from like in realistic scenario, you can't take Ruben Bain and then Mekhi Lemon at 29.
Yeah, sure.
But like realistic scenario, but dream scenario, who are you taking?
Okay, this is me talking. This is not
this is not the Chiefs.
This is Matt
not
talking.
The Chiefs. This is Matt McMullen. This is not the Chiefs.
So if Caleb Downs was there at number 9, I think he'd be my pick. I think Caleb Downs is one of the best players in the draft, and I think he's so versatile, could do so many things on defense. Where
Hard to argue that.
He would make our defense immediately better.
Ohio State guys, man, what are we doing?
I think
be
Caleb
2 straight
Downs,
first-round picks at Ohio State.
What the hell?
And truly, I do think whoever we end up with there, I'm going to be really excited about, because if it's Ruben Bain, if it's Monster Delane, if it's any of these guys, I will be excited about it. If it's the receivers. But Downs, I think, is my favorite player in the draft. At 29, I think one of those edges would make a lot of sense. Honestly, a guy like TJ Parker, like you were talking about earlier.
My guy?
I think TJ Parker would be awesome. Or Zion Young would make a lot of sense. And then if a corner was there at 40, it could be your guy, the San Diego State kid,
Chris Johnson.
He could make a lot of sense. Or if a player like Colton Hood fell. There's some interesting corners in this draft, looking at my list here. But if one of those guys fell, I'd be excited. So if we were able to go, and I understand that's double defensive back, but I think if Caleb Downs was there and you get Zion Young or TJ Parker and then a guy like Chris Johnson, man, that'd be an awesome first couple of days.
We would know that for the next few years, the defense is probably going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So as much as like missing out on wide receiver would hurt, knowing that you have a defense to fall back on, knowing that you can run the football on the offensive side now, and, I guess we can see what happens as far as like the Worthy's development and Rashi's development, and, let's see if any of these other receivers go out there. Like, yeah, I think I could feel confident the defense could make something happen.
I'll add one thing, though. If Omar Cooper was there at 29, and then you can get an edge at 40, that'd be pretty hard to pass up.
I can already see your 5 things to know about Omar Cooper.
He's probably got it ready right now.
I'd be into that one.
He's
That'd
probably
be
already
awesome.
got it ready right now. Okay, so that is Matt McMullen, Chiefs team reporter. here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special.
Needs
Thanks.
another ring, man.
Yeah, we need the Chiefs to get you another ring.
That sounds great.
Get you in some more hats and T-shirts.
Yeah.
So that you can brag about it next year. We have you on talking NFL Draft when they're picking 32. That would be awesome.
I look forward to it. Thanks for having me on, guys. This is always so much
Thanks
fun.
for being in
It's
here,
crazy
man.
how the time flies. I can't believe it's been 4 years I've been coming on here.
Yeah.
But I respect so much the work that you guys do, getting everybody ready for this, and it's going to be a lot of fun later this month.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It has been moving so fast, this pre-draft process. Like I said, this is our 4th draft doing this show. So it's kind of funny. We always kind of put it in perspective whenever we're talking this stuff. And it's so crazy how quickly this thing
I take a lot of heat because I call the draft the top 5 sporting event or top 3 sporting event.
It is for me too.
And you think of 700,000 million people going to it, and people at water coolers, as much as you like other events, there's a ton of other big sporting events. They're talking about who the Chiefs are going to draft a lot more than anything else.
Well, and so I tell some of our younger employees that come in here and haven't experienced an NFL draft yet, they ask what it's like. And I'm like, it's like a game day, but there's no risk of losing. Like, we're going to be happy no matter what, unless you're Jay, I guess, and you don't like the pick. But generally speaking, you're going to be happy.
So mad.
You're going to be happy no matter what,
God.
you know. So it truly feels like a game day weekend, and no matter what, you're happy and you're excited about the direction.
Bink looked like he lost the Super Bowl. Seriously, I've never seen him so deflated.
Well, the year before, go back to the year before, Worthy, you and I had him.
We were excited.
We had him on our first mock that we did.
Yeah, we were excited. So, yeah. And
During the season.
And then to see them go and take Josh Simmons when we wanted Luther Burden, he was so sad. Oh, man.
It worked out okay, though.
It opened up a whole other school possibility.
It did. We can actually start mocking Ohio State guys now.
Yes, we can.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. Like I said, we love it whenever you come on. And again, you are welcome whenever. You were great at this, so we appreciate you being on.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Anytime.
Thanks to Chiefs team reporter Matt McMullen for joining us. NFL draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Coming up next, we'll continue our NFL draft coverage here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hey, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And Rob, I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC will feature the biggest names who made the World Cup in Kansas City possible, plus the biggest storylines heading into this summer's tournament. This is not a podcast about soccer. Don't get us wrong. This is a podcast about Kansas City. This is a podcast for Kansas City. And this is a podcast that'll tell the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes will be released every Wednesday starting on March 4th, as well as video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ's social channels.
Subscribe and download to Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series with myself, Rob Bretton, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Price Chopper supermarkets and McKeever's markets.
Hey, it's Scott Parks, and we've launched Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's largest sporting event, presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. Subscribe on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Back in here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden. Special thanks to Matt McMullen for joining us on the last hour 15.
No question. Big thanks to Matt McMullen for joining us. All the guests, don't forget, are brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Much appreciated. I love all the work that Matt and Mitch Holtis do. I mean, broadcasters, and other stuff that Matt does, but all the attention they put in the draft, they do a lot of work. And you've seen the binders that Mitch Holtis has and what Matt does on the Chiefs website, Chiefs.com and everything else with the 5 things to know about certain players. He puts nuggets out there, really good nuggets about players, and he does a lot of homework.
Yeah, I always appreciate it. It's always good bringing him in because, it's almost like the validation when, we say something and he's like, yeah. That's how I love that. Validation. I love that part because
You've never met Matt.
I
hadn't.
Because I was like, maybe the Chiefs will hear it and they'll be like, yeah, I like that guy too. And
Put it this way, Jackson, ever since he's been here, they win. I mean, ever since he took the job, he collects rings. Like, seriously, once he took over, it's like, ring.
He has had one of the most successful team reporter tenures in NFL history.
I'm surprised more teams aren't trying to get Matt.
Picked a good time to come to Kansas City.
I think he's local, right? I think he's from here.
I think so.
Picked a good time to start working for the Chiefs.
He did. I mean,
he's like the heyday.
He has one of the greatest jobs in sports.
Well, I remind people, before the Chiefs went on a 24-year run, just winning one playoff game. That 2015 game they beat Houston.
That was tough.
Alex Smith. They went 22 years without winning a playoff game. That means you could be born sitting in a bar legally for over a year, drinking a beer, all the way through college in the amount of time the Chiefs won a playoff game. Enter Mahomes through the draft. He's already won 17 playoff games, number 2 all time.
I'm
only Tom Brady.
Yeah, how old are you, Jackson?
I'm 24, but I turned 20.
So you didn't even
I turned
live
25
that.
at the end of the month.
You
so.
didn't even live
I lived through
that.
Castle and
But
Tyler
you didn't live it
Palco
like
and
we lived it.
Brody Croyle.
I called that street between Arrowhead and Kaufman the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
We went
man.
20. We went over
The
20.
sad guy sitting at the
for some of the
diner.
bad times.
You
though.
were some, but
It's not like I'm a
Man,
kid. It's not like I just jumped on right when they got Mahomes. I went through the heartbreak and the heartbreak. Actually, went with my dad to Indianapolis when Andy Reid's first year when they blew that lead.
Man.
And I think I've told you this.
Did y'all drive or fly?
We drove in his sports car, and it snowed like 12
Yeah, I
inches
know,
of
'cause
snow.
we
got
had-
snowed in the whole next week, and all we have is Chiefs gear.
I think
That's
because
it.
I did the post-game show. I was doing the post-game show that
I know
year.
because I engineered
And
it.
I remembered saying when I first came on, I go, I literally have nothing to say. So because it was during the phone lines because I hadn't collected my thoughts.
It was because it was.
I didn't think it was going to happen.
We were at the other place in 135th in Olathe because I was in. This was when I was working in promotions.
Yeah.
And it was Lake and Bink. They were doing the post game show back when Lake was here.
We couldn't believe it.
We were speechless. None of us could believe what had happened because we were like, "Oh my God, we're going to see them win a playoff game."
And everything. There's no way they're going to lose.
We were
this.
feeling good, 38-10.
And
We
then
were
they did.
feeling good, and then they just completely melted.
I mean, me and my dad were sitting in the nosebleeds, and he's talking about we're going to get tickets to go to Denver the next week. We're going to go play the
we
the
thought
Broncos.
they were playing Peyton.
We thought we were going to go get them for a third time that year. That was the year that we started 9-0, and then they beat us. So
Yeah.
it would been that.
This is
that-
what happens when you get players in the draft. You address the needs before
Oh,
the
yeah.
draft, and you kind of fill it in. But this is the lifeblood of the organization, and it's one of the things that Brett Veach said that's probably my favorite thing he's ever said. My favorite thing, actually, that anybody's ever said in Kansas City sports when he was sitting there at the Super Bowl parade after Super Bowl 57 when they beat the Eagles, and he held up the Lombardi Trophy, and he said, "This is what a rebuild looks like." Of course, that was the Pacheco class and Jalen Watson. And all those
I
guys.
was there at the at
And he's
that,
like, "This is what a rebuild,"
rally.
because they had to use that draft. I mean, that was a very important draft for the Chiefs, but they needed those players to play roles for the team throughout the year and then through the postseason. But he was like, "This is what a rebuild looks like." It's like, okay, we get it. We get it.
One thing I found interesting, when we started the conversation with Matt, was talking about the impact that the Chiefs having a full offseason has in their evaluation process. And we heard that from like Andy and Spags after the season. Like, Spags was talking about how like he's literally gone into the combine and not really known much about the players that he's interviewed on the defensive side. And then having to kind of supplement that, in the month and a half or whatever.
You got to
from
cram
combine to
after one of the
draft.
biggest moments of your life, a
Right.
Super Bowl.
It's so like that's why I'm so excited about this draft, is that now they really have. I mean, they've had now. It'll be 3 months from the end of the season, and even I assume that they were probably, like Spags and them were looking at some kind of tape before the season was
I'm looking
done.
more forward to this draft since Mahomes has been here.
Me too.
As it started more than any of more. Brett Veach's. I mean, he's had some great drafts. I'm looking more forward to, and not just because of the timeliness of it. It's the next one. No, it actually is very important
because of the fact that they
It's the lifeblood.
have more resources now than they've had in a long time, and on top of that, now they have so much time to evaluate talent. Even though, like, from a talent standpoint, this isn't as strong of a class as we've seen the last few years, there's still some good players that you could find in the 3 days of the draft.
And it does make a difference because I keep hearing this. Well, what about receiver evaluation from the Chiefs and stuff? They've had so much success. But the thing about it is you have to take everything into the picture. You have to take in a Trey Smith in the 6th round, a Creed Humphrey in the 2nd round, Nick Bolton in the 2nd round. You got to take that. You got to take into account where they're drafting at the end of the 1st round, which is much different than the top 10. At the end of every round, when you've been to the Super Bowl, it has been a different draft experience for the Chiefs where they've had to be good. And they've had to get guys to actually go out there and play. But you're not drafting top 10 talent every year like they are this year.
It's funny because, like, now they actually have 2 picks, 29 and 40, that are about similar value to what the Chiefs usually have with their only 1st-round pick in the years that they've been coming off of late playoff appearances, Super Bowl appearances.
You go this way. You look at the last 5 years, the Chiefs have the 2nd highest percentage of players still in the roster that were drafted. And it's like 1 percentage point different than the Bengals. And the Bengals haven't done anything. The Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls. But the Chiefs have the 2nd highest amount of draft picks now this draft changes things, but going for the last 5 years, the second most amount of draft picks on the roster is the Kansas City Chiefs.
And I think right now the Chiefs are like the third or fourth youngest roster in the league right now. And they're obviously about to get younger when they bring in this rookie
and
class.
Again, it's much different if you're the Jets and you're playing draft picks and you're the Chiefs playing draft picks because the Chiefs draft picks are winning.
And this is like the great part about having your quarterback situation figured out. Because like a lot of teams that have like really young teams, they don't really have their quarterback situation figured out, or maybe they got a guy that they're developing, but that guy hasn't like reached his prime, so he's not carrying your team.
It's a good point because the quarterback makes all the difference. We see these teams reaching on Daniel Jones and the Colts.
Well, I think the best
Teams are
example of
reaching.
that is the Jets crushed the draft a few years ago. They got Breece Hall, they got Garrett Wilson, they got Sauce Gardner. It doesn't matter because they missed on Zach Wilson the other year.
You got to be a ready quarterback.
You can be a GM, and if you had 6 draft picks and you hit on 5 of them, but you missed on the quarterback, you're done.
It's like the Colts.
You're done.
The Colts, when they came and played the Chiefs, Daniel Jones had 7 turnovers before the Chiefs week. The previous 2 weeks, 7 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. He got injured towards the end of the year. That's fine. But he still had those turnovers before. And when they traded for Sauce Gardner, you give us the 2 first, you've made your decision. And they did make the decision because they
went all in.
They said they pushed all in on Daniel Jones is what they did. It was evident when they make the Sauce Gardner trade.
100%.
Yeah, I like I said, and that's the reason why you got to be really careful about making those big swing trades like that. Because, like, if you're going to do that, you got to be certain that everything else is in order. And that was that's the reason why I wasn't a huge fan of it. Because I'm not a big fan of Daniel Jones. I wasn't a fan of him when he was in New York. Wasn't a fan when they paid him $40 million a year, even though Saquon was the guy that was leading their offense. I just didn't like that. And, now you're seeing the Colts in a similar situation where they kind of felt like they had to pay him. And, granted, they're going to be able to get out of it a little bit after, 2 years or something like that.
Yeah,
but
it's a weird team that was 7-1.
Yeah, and then they fell apart.
All their eggs in one basket. Jonathan Taylor, his usage went way down. Jonathan Taylor's MVP the first half of the season.
He was. He should have been MVP. If he would have continued on that path, he was, to me, he would have been the guy to win MVP.
Their schedule was also incredibly backloaded to where they ended
very
with Seattle,
favorable.
San Francisco,
It was tough.
Jags. The teams they're beating early on in the year. Now they did get a good win against Denver, but it was not.
But it was beating like the Dolphins,
the Titans
and the Cardinals,
twice.
and teams
It was a bit of fool's
Then
gold.
they played the Chiefs and things kind of went
After
downhill
they lost to
from
the
there.
Chiefs, the whole season went downhill. And,
But my thing is that's the thing that's so beautiful about having your quarterback situation figured out is that you don't have to take those big swing trades like that. You
and
don't
especially
have to,
this year's draft.
You don't have to
when
trade
you're
2
a team
ones for
like
a
the
quarter.
Raiders are going to have the #1 pick and get Mendoza. They just gave Kirk Cousins all that money.
Yeah, if you're going to trade 2
at least all the time. It's like Brock Purdy, last player selected in the draft. Everybody missed on him. And they draft quarterbacks that they quickly, like Will Levis. I mean, they're quickly done with, and obviously injuries came into there as well. But like this year, there's just no, quote, quarterbacks. That's why Ty Simpson's starting to get a lot of run because there's not that guy. Dante Moore probably would have been the second best quarterback in this year's draft, but he's going back to Oregon.
Yeah, he would have been the number 2 pick in this draft if he would have entered. But, he decided that, he wants to try to win a chip with Oregon before he goes pro. So coming up next, me and Bink are going to talk about the possibility of the Chiefs making some trades during the NFL draft. This is the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Liberty Mutual customize this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
For nearly 100 years,
Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at CM Mo's and Sons.
Well, boy, it's getting hot out there. Now, if your AC is making funny noises, just needs a once-over, or your home isn't as cool as it used to be, visit cmmosandsons.com. CM Mo's and Sons, license 202919.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again. So call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back. And Underdog is the best place to get in on the action because you can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. You're just going to choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get those entries right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. No better time than March to use Underdog. Plus, with ladders, streaks, pick'ems, and champions, so many different ways to get in on the action. Download the app today and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Final couple segments here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here at 96.5 The Fan. Chris Unocero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden. This is a scenario that has been talked about a bunch in the lead up to the draft, as the Chiefs have a lot of draft capital. The possibility that the Chiefs could make some trades, deal around. When we did our mock draft roundup earlier, there were a couple of mock drafts that had the Chiefs trading up in the top 10. One of them to go and grab, one of them was David Bailey, and the other one was Sonny Styles, which Sonny Styles would be really weird to me because, I mean, he's a freak athlete, but like what does he bring that the Chiefs absolutely need on their team? I don't know. But how likely do you think the Chiefs make any sort of trade in round one?
I don't see it as plausible this year. I will say this, the proposal by Cleveland didn't go through. Remember, they put a proposal,
thankfully,
that you could trade picks 5
years out. Instead
now
of,
it's just up to 3 years.
3 years out, which is what it is now. Yeah.
And now, and one of them is gone for next year because they used that on Justin Fields.
Right.
So I can actually, honestly, I think the Chiefs find a way to get in 6 and 7. I think they find a way to make a deal by moving up. At least I do think they move up more in the 5th round with the 3 5th-round picks. Utilize that and jump into the 4th again or the end of the 3rd. And then, get a 6th round or 7th round thrown back. I just don't know if the player is there that stands out, a must-have player that'll be sliding. It's just not that whole must-have where you're saying, well, the Chiefs are in a good position. Because I'd love to see them trade back from 9. But you don't get the 9 very often. They really earn a top 10 pick, which they clearly did. I just don't know if that player is there because usually that player is a quarterback, an edge, a tackle. And I don't see that dynamic player where people would trade up with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, 29, I think that's much more plausible than 9.
So I do think 29 is more plausible because I think there's a good potential that someone could trade back into the 1st round to go get Ty Simpson. I think there's a very good chance there. Because I don't think Simpson's going to go high. I think he could. The earliest he'll go is the 20s. There's going to be some team out there who needs a quarterback that is not bad enough to be able to tank for a quarterback.
Well, the thing is, you root for someone. You see stuff like that out there, like Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
You root for teams.
Oh,
you
right.
You root for that buzz.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just being realistic.
No, I know you're being realistic.
I understand the buzz.
But any kind of Ty Simpson good press, I like it because it means that the chances of Chiefs being able to move is even better.
Like I said, but my thing is I don't think the Chiefs are really interested in moving from 9 because they're in an interesting spot. They can take so many different positions at 9. If they want to go edge rusher at 9, you have options. I don't think Bain. You have options in theory, though you might not, because I don't think Bailey or Bain are going to be available at 9. But maybe they are. You obviously have options at wide receiver, because I think you're going to have at least 2 of the trio of Tate, Lemon, and Tyson available at 9. I think more than likely Lemon and Tyson will be there at 9, and Tate probably gets taken before then. And if the Chiefs really like Mekhi Lemon, that I think he'll be there. Same thing with Tyson. I think for sure Tyson will be there at 9. Though again, you question the injury thing, but to me, I'm not really interested in the Chiefs trading really at all in the first 40 picks. Now, if they want to make a move back into round 2, move from 74 up into the late 2nd round. If they really like someone in the late 2nd round, then I'm
if
fine
you found a
with
way
that.
to manufacture it to where you still got picks early in the 2nd.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm just not
anywhere between 32 and 40. And
I'm
33 and 40.
Yeah, my thing is just I'm not interested in moving around in round 1 because I think you're playing with fire if you move back too far when it comes to receiver. And let's say you move out of 9, where are you moving to and who are you taking? Because the guys that I would be, because the only way I'd be cool if they move back from 9 is if they move back to 15 and took a Keldrick Falk. If that's where they go, then I'm okay. Because I like Falk. I like his potential. Not a ton of production this past year, but I think a lot of that can be chalked up to Auburn's scheme. But he is if we're talking about perfect fit, I think he would be perfect fit for them at as far as the type of guy they would go for.
Somebody to watch is 16. It's the Jets. They're second to their first rounders.
Yeah.
The Jets are somebody to watch at 16. If you're thinking of moving to 9 and you could only have to move back to 16, watch the New York Jets picking at 16 because that would be a team that you'd want to have interest. If they're working out Ty Simpson in a private workout, if he goes up there and blows them away, and they're sitting there at 16 going, well, we got to move up to where the Chiefs are at 9. That'd be a situation to be good.
We're gonna continue the draft talk here. We only got a few minutes left in the show, but we got to hit a break here. So coming back, we'll close out the show, our very first edition of the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. by the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brennan from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the upcoming World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC features the biggest names who helped make the World Cup in Kansas City possible. And there was a lot of work, plus the major storylines heading into this summer's tournament.
This is so much more. This isn't just a podcast about soccer.
No, you're right, Rob. It's a podcast about Kansas City, for Kansas City, telling the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, along with video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
So make sure you subscribe. Download Beyond the Pitch KC with Rob Brennan and myself, Scott Parks, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Final few minutes here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Me and Bink were sitting there talking on the break, and I saw a thing on Twitter from somebody saying that Sky Moore got a text from Andy Reid after he was traded to San Francisco, and he said, "This will be good for you." And it just harkens back to how we both liked Sky Moore in the 22 draft. We liked that pick in the second round, and it didn't work out.
It didn't. It was one of those things like kept waiting for him to develop.
Yeah, just kept waiting.
Just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and just realized it's not going to happen.
You know what's funny is like someone brought this up in the first hour of the show about, oh, well, the Chiefs have taken players that fit their system and it hasn't worked out. Like that's literally every team in the league. Every single team drafts players that fit their system
misses.
for the most part. Some teams draft players that don't fit their system, and we see it very early that they don't fit their system.
There's just so many misses in the first round. There's a lot of guys in the first round not even playing now. They were just in the last couple of years in the first round.
Like I think the number I was watching. There's this guy on YouTube makes great content on sports called Michael McKelvey, and he did a thing on the draft. I think it was like a year or two ago, and he basically said it's like maybe a third of the guys who are taken in round one end up actually being good, let alone great. But even like really good players, it's like about a third, maybe half of the players actually turn out to be good. There's a lot of misses in the draft every single year. And it's just amazing to me how like every year you get people that like, oh, we'll just draft the best players. But it's like, we don't know who the best players are. Like, we don't. Like, we don't know how these guys are all going to pan out. Like, I've seen so many people be very resolute on like, Ruben Bain. And I think Ruben Bain's going to be a very good player. There's no guarantee Ruben Bain's going to be a very good player, though. Because every year there's always somebody who is of the Ruben Bain type. And it's almost a coin flip of whether or not they're actually going to be good or not.
And just looking at somebody will put something on Twitter and say, oh, look at this. It was the Ruben Bain. The way he was bending.
Oh, yeah, he's got great bend.
It's like
that's probably his best trait.
Let's remember, we're in shorts here, hitting a blocking slip.
Not being blocked.
If I had a nickel for everybody to go to St. Joe and watch the Chiefs in training camp talking about how great that player is when they're not going against, or they're making a big catch down the field of 70 yards, well, the corner you were going against is selling insurance for Geico right now.
Yeah. And it was like, it kind of reminds me of, remember when Zach Wilson was doing his workout on his pro day for BYU?
The infamous pro day throw.
And then he did that where he rolled out to his right and he threw on the run and everybody freaked out about that run. I was like, he has no coverage. He has
pads.
No pass rush.
No pads on.
He's not in pads. He doesn't have to worry about getting killed in 3 seconds because he held on to the football for too long.
That's what I'm a big fan of, looking at players, just like what we do during the season. Like
that was such an odd
matchups.
draft process because of COVID the previous year too.
Yeah,
so I think
always
that
like,
led to it.
Always go back and just always recommend go back and look at the player you like and look at what they did against good competition. Did they excel against great competition? Perfect. Did they roll up a ton of yards against Eastern Michigan? And have hardly any against Michigan? I mean, there's a big difference there.
That's the reason why, like, we always, and I know you bring this up all the time, is like when we start talking about these prospects, we compare them when they start playing like the very best teams. Yep. And I know you've made that point with like Jeremiah Love. You made that point with Ruben Bain as well. And it's just like, measure them against the very best competition to see how they performed. And, I think McMullen did make a good point when it comes to Bain, that Bain did play well in the biggest of games for the most part during the playoff. But also he had a stretch where he had like half a sack in like 7 games.
Yeah, and then the whole Ole Miss game, he didn't do anything there in the playoffs. Then it's always, who did you play? When did you play him? Just like Jeremiah Love. His biggest game was against Miami, the first game of the year. He had 33 yards rushing. It's and a Tyrone Montgomery that we really like, the wide receiver. Yes. He didn't play great competition at John Carroll, Division III John Carroll, but he had an opportunity in the Senior Bowl to play actual good corners, and he stood out.
Yeah, I mean, he was arguably the best receiver at the Senior Bowl. He mossed my favorite corner, Chris Johnson, which I was when I saw that, I was like, I don't know who the hell this kid is. But what he just did to my favorite corner in this draft, I got to look more into this kid because yeah, and it was a pretty good throw, but it was an incredible catch. Caught it right over. I mean, Johnson was in good position too, and yeah, he just right out there. So competition is a big thing for these guys, and that's the reason why I want to see what these guys do against that. That's the reason why I love the Senior Bowl, like Senior Bowl practice. Like that's the reason why like T.J. Parker impressed me so much there. Going
Zion
up against
Young
those
had a
guys.
great Senior Bowl.
Zion Young was great there. Derek Moore, he blew up the left tackle from Miami. I can't remember his name, but the left tackle from Miami, he just blew his ass up on that. Remember, he put him on his ass there. Like Derek Moore, he caught everyone's attention because of that.
That's a second-round pick right there.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're always excited. Is Derek Moore really going to be a second-round pick?
What do you think?
Third or fourth round? Third or fourth round?
I think somewhere in the second.
Maybe he goes second round.
Could be early third.
But yeah, somewhere in that range. But yeah, we're in the books. First of our
next Wednesday
of our character concerns NFL draft specials. Special thanks to Matt McMullen, Chiefs team reporter. Special thanks to Jackson Ogden for doing all the hard work over on the other side of the glass. Special thanks to you for taking time out of your Thursday evening to listen to us. Next Wednesday, we'll be back here on Character Concerns.
You're listening to the Character Concerns